to those on Medicare and Medicaid. A winning $50,000 lottery ticket is collecting dust. Donnie Burgess reports time to collect the prize is running out.
If you bought a Hoosier Lottery Powerball ticket at the Smoke Shop in Rensselaer back in April, you have a winner, but you're almost out of time to cash in. The $50,000 ticket needs to be claimed by 4:30 Thursday afternoon. You have to make the drive to the payment office in Indianapolis, but it's better than letting the ticket expire. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana football Hoosiers ranked 24th in the AP Top 25 this week. It's their first ranking in 4 years. They are 5-0 for the first time since 1967. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Kurt, looking at Hamilton County, southbound 69 at Cynthia Ann Road, crash blocking the right lane. We have a rolled pickup truck and trailer off in a ditch off the right shoulder, causing stop-and-go traffic back to the county line. Not quite to State Road 13, but a significant backup there. Northeast side, westbound 465 at Allisonville Road. That's a crash on the right shoulder. Stop-and-go traffic back to 71st Street. Also looking at the north split, crash westbound 70 in the split on the left shoulder, slowing traffic just a little bit. And northbound 65 on the northwest side. Boone County, slow traffic on northbound 65 from the Dogleg up to Whitestown Parkway. And High School Road still closed between Gateway Drive and West 46 because of a fatal crash from earlier this morning. Traffic sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Do you ever worry if you'll run out of money in retirement? If so, you're not alone. 70% of Americans fear running out of money in retirement, more than they fear death itself. And now that Social Security is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years, going broke in retirement could be a very real threat. Learn the latest strategies that could help you avoid running out of money in retirement with a free analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We know and trust Bill Demery, and you can too. So if you have saved more than $200,000, schedule that free analysis right now by calling 317-648-5120. The last thing you want is to be 80 years old, full of life, and flat broke. So call Bill Demery today, 317-648-5120, 317-648-5120.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy with some spotty drizzle throughout the day. We'll finish with a high of 77. Rain chances end by mid-evening, mostly cloudy with fog overnight, a low of 63. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8's Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
68 and mostly cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, September 30th, 7 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Coming up in a bit, we're going to talk about Donald Trump being at the Alabama-Georgia game and also how Tim Walz was not received very well at the Michigan game. Plus, J.D. Vance's argument with Permane brothers in Pennsylvania. But first, we've got to talk about what's going on in the Southeast. Over 2.5 million people remain without power. This after Hurricane Helene completely demolished parts of North Carolina and Tennessee. I'm getting conflicting reports, and I'm sure the total is not final yet. At least 65 people have been killed, with a third of them being from trees that have fallen. They're saying that nearly 1,000 people are reported missing in North Carolina right now.
All right, so somebody who used to own property on the East Coast in North Carolina, we'll talk about the hurricane and then the devastation of a hurricane and what it's like to go through one if you ever haven't in just a second. But let's start with the impact we had up here. I mean, it was really, really nasty weather for basically a day and a half, to the point where they canceled most high school football games on Friday night. I know some did play, but here in central Indiana, most of the high school football games were canceled, and normally they try to reschedule those games to a Saturday morning. They were so concerned about the weather that many of them, they were either very late morning or mid-afternoon games that took place. And the only weather event that I can remember that took place somewhere else and we felt the ramifications like that here was Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
And that was almost 20 years ago now. I mean, this was a very, very powerful storm. When you're talking, thousands of, hundreds of miles, thousands of miles, in some cases away, people were feeling the impact of this storm.
Did you lose power at
Nope.
your house?
No.
We did lose power at our house, and when everything turned back on, the carbon monoxide detector started going off, and it was speaking to me, and it scared me because I thought, what is going on? We don't have a security system at our house, which we should, but I thought, is someone trying to break in the house? And then I kept hearing a banging on the window. Well, it was a tree in front of the window that was just making all sorts of noise from the wind.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously compared to what other people got, our damage was minuscule, right? Oh, you lost some limbs. Ooh, terrible you. Yeah. But, you do think about, it does put into perspective the magnitude. And like I said, the only hurricane that I can remember that had that sort of impact on Indiana, at least in the modern era, was Hurricane Katrina. That was a very similar thing, and obviously that took a different route to get up to Indiana than Helene. But you are talking about a severe weather event when you're talking the state of people in the state of Indiana are having not just impacted by, but having some severe effects of a storm. Now, let's talk about hurricanes for somebody who's never been through a hurricane. And I can say this: I had a business for many, many years on the East Coast. Went through 2 hurricanes, severe hurricanes during that time. Business destroyed both times. Put the business back together once. After the second one, said, I don't have the heart to do this again, and ended up selling the business after a second hurricane. We get tornadoes here, and that's oftentimes deadly and severe. And not in any way I'm not in any way trying to belittle what it is like to go through a tornado or the impact they have or the loss of life that it causes. But in a weird way, what we have here is a much better proposition because in many cases, it's boom, it's quick, it's over, it's done with. Hey, the damage is the damage, and then, you deal with it. A hurricane, especially ones like we just saw, for me was always way worse because, one, you track it. Like, you just see the thing in an ocean somewhere, and those people spend days playing a guessing game of if this thing moves 30 miles to the left or 30 miles to the right. It's like watching, the Grim Reaper coming right for you, and what way is it going to go? That's horrible. And then with the hurricane, you're stuck, right? Like those people in Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, you're simply stuck. Sometimes these hurricanes will get in, and this happened with both of the hurricanes that hit where my business was. It wasn't the wind, it was the rain. It just sits. The rain comes and the rain sits, and it is not that everything's blowing off or blowing over. It is the intense super flooding that takes place. And in the case of the people of Western North Carolina, because it is so rare that they'll get hit with remnants of hurricanes, but it is so rare that this sort of thing happens. Their infrastructure is not set up to deal with that sort of mass flooding, that sort of large quantities of rain, and thus then you get not only damage, but you get severe loss of life, and in some cases, entire cities just being
demolished.
Just blown, just washed away.
Yeah, which is what has happened in North Carolina. And you're right. It's not just the rain with the hurricane and the high wind. Of course, if you're by the water, you get the storm surge. And if you're not by the water, like in North Carolina, you get the flooding and you get the down power lines, the infrastructure crumbles. You've got all that flooding and the trees and loss of power, and it lasts for days and days. And that's what they're grappling with right now. Over 1,000 people reported missing, no cell service. Yeah. 250,000 people right now completely cut off in Asheville.
It's so, and like, I'm not trying to make this about me, but it hit very hard because if you've never driven to the East Coast, you can't just drive like in a straight line.
Because of the mountains.
Right. So you've got to, like 74 does not connect in that fashion. So in order to get to, if you're trying to go to Myrtle Beach or whatever, you drive in this very weird, jagged route. And a big part of that is, you know, for example, my trip was always 65, 264, 75, 40. And the 40 portion.
40's now gone.
Right. That's the thing. So the 40 portion would take you into Asheville, and then you take 20, 26, and you'd end up on I-95, which would get you to your destination. And that area, I mean, I went through there countless times. That is just, it's gone.
Yeah.
And the big thing you were always worried about there wasn't hurricanes. It was, there were all these boulders. So like the mountains are literally right next to the road. Like you're just, they just carved roads out of mountains. And there was always this risk of these boulders would literally
falling rocks.
You could literally have and I'm not trying to be like facetious or, you know, lighthearted about this, but literally there was a risk you could be driving like some out of a cartoon and a boulder could just fall on me. It was a very spooky, eerie drive, and I cannot imagine those people who got stuck in that or were on the roadways when that happened, or even the people who were not on the roadways but just geographically living in that area. There's not a lot of ways out of that area if you're confined or pinned in or whatever due to mass flooding.
So President Biden posted to his X account that he is in constant contact with local officials and will continue to support responses and recovery efforts. He was asked by reporters, I believe he was on the tarmac, and he was asked by reporters about any aid going to the area, and this was his response.
Do you have any words for the victims of the hurricane? Yes, it's tragic. Matter of fact, we're trying to get the exact number. My FEMA advisor is on the ground in Florida right now. There's a distinction between the numbers that FEMA's used and the ones that are used by the locals. So it really is amazing. You saw the photographs. It's stunning.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Such a wide area.
And we've given them all everything that we have. We're on the ground ahead of time, so we're working hard.
So he just said, we're giving them everything we have. We're giving them everything we have. But people there are saying, where is our government?
Well, it's very East Palestine, right? Very reminiscent of that, where you just don't feel like, I mean, this is a constant reminder, though, that the government cannot save you. I mean, people think that the government is some end-all, be-all, and I will never forget this is how inept the federal government is. So I think this was the first hurricane. They were 2 years apart. This has been like 2016. It was a guy, he was a local newspaper guy. He lived in the community, but he was a sort of, not like a survivalist, but he lived very much his own existence. And his house gets hit by this hurricane, and he goes to FEMA. Like they have these, when these hurricanes come through, there's like FEMA stations. FEMA will come in and they will just set up camp. They're not really helping you, but like you can go to them and tell them, you know, like, here's my thing. And then they start, it takes months and months, but they will start divvying up resources, whatever. And he goes to FEMA and, you know, he's sort of a do-it-yourselfer guy and basically helped build his house on his own. And so he knew what he was doing. And he goes, I can fix most of my house. He goes to FEMA, goes, I just really need a couple cans of paint. Well, you can't get supplies down there. They've got to bring everything into you because the stores get destroyed, et cetera. And he goes, I don't need money. He goes, I don't need to stay anywhere. Just if you guys can get me a couple of cans of paint, I can fix this. And they go, well, your house isn't safe to stay in. He goes, yeah, it'll be fine. I just need a couple cans of paint. You guys just give me a couple cans of paint. I'll paint this. I can do this on my own. I'll be fine. No. Your house is unsafe for living in, and they paid for months for this guy to live in a hotel. And this guy kept, like, every week would go back and go, can I just have some paint? Mm-hmm. No, your house. I understand my house isn't safe to live in. I'd like to make it safe to live in. Mm-hmm. The federal government is the worst at it. It took months for him to get back into his house.
So some privately owned helicopters, they're delivering supplies to some of the stranded victims down there. And lots of locals are volunteering their time. But that's just it. I mean, imagine some of these people, they have lost their homes. They have lost their vehicles. The roads are gone. Even if they had a vehicle, they couldn't drive on it. And that's nothing because there's been loss of life and many missing people. And it's just tragic, everything that happened down there. And Just imagine how much this is going to cost. You think about the entire coast of Florida, right? All the way up the coast of Florida, Tampa, Clearwater, up into the Panhandle, and then up into Tennessee and Georgia and North Carolina. Just the amount of money to restore everything is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, pray for those people because they really need it.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey. The rhetoric of the left. I mean, this guy was using the exact same words that Biden and Harris have been using. The right is not out there shooting at Joe Biden.
Kamala Harris calling Donald Trump the biggest threat to America since the Civil War. Many people are saying lone wolf. I'm questioning whether he truly was a lone wolf.
Well,
and I think many people are.
Kendall and Casey. Weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
It's the start of our favorite season in Indy, football season. That's right. With all the hype and action this season brings, we know things can get loud and messy real quick. Before you invite your friends and family over to watch the big game, you better call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to clean up all those fumble moments in your home. Lucky for you, you can score big this month with great savings. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $119. Take $75 off air duct cleaning too. The Zero Res service is easy to line up. You can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Don't forget the ZR water difference. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, leaving things really clean. Now mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $119, plus you'll get $75 off air duct cleaning too. 317-388-5141. That's 317-388-5141. Book online at ZeroResIndy.com.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold now.
Message and data rates may apply.
They're known for their sandwiches. I've been there. One time, ordered a sandwich from there, and they put French fries right there on the sandwich in between the bread. It's a big, thick sandwich. Talking about Permane Brothers, famous throughout the state of Pennsylvania. And that's where J.D. Vance tried to go, but he was barred from entering. And
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was barred from going inside.
For like, I mean, had he committed some sort of felonious action in the state of Pennsylvania that would prohibit him from entering an upstanding place of business? Was he on a wanted poster or in a post office somewhere for crimes against humanity?
No, I think he just wanted to go in and do a little campaigning inside the famous Pennsylvania sandwich shop.
He wanted to go in and eat.
Yeah.
And they said, you can't.
Yeah.
Now, look, I thought we had moved past that in our society where we denied law-abiding, decent members of society the ability to come into a lunch counter somewhere. I thought we'd move past that.
Apparently not, at least not at Permane Brothers. So this is what it sounded like from somebody who was there at the event.
It's a riot. The manager went outside, told them they need to leave. They will call the police if he comes south. Unfortunately, he cannot come in. So what's going to happen is that they're going to take down our name, all our information, so the next time the kitchen crew's running out because everyone's canceling their orders. Everyone just cancel all the orders, and we're just paying for what we drank, and then everyone's leaving. But yes, unfortunately, Vance cannot come out of his car, cannot shake our hands because Permane Brothers does not want him in here whatsoever.
So he ended up staying in the parking lot. He met with supporters outside, and he also paid for their tabs, and he told everybody no tax on tips. But keep in mind, this is the same establishment that allowed Kamala to kick everyone out so that she could bring in her own people and do a photo op. J.D. Vance wasn't trying to kick any patrons out. He just wanted to go in and meet with people, and they said, absolutely not. The restaurant said it came down to monetary confusion for members of their staff.
Is that English? Like that doesn't, is that English? Do you understand? Like if I were, what was the quote?
It was monetary confusion for members of their staff.
Yeah, does that make any sense to you?
No, they said they were given no advance notice that Vance was going to be coming.
Oh, so they just made it up? I mean, that's the theory. Like, I don't think that's exactly how it works at all. Yeah, we'll just pull over at this Wendy's here off 74, and we'll just have ourselves an old campaign event and hope people show up. That's not how it works at all. They knew exactly what they were doing. And look, you got to decide as a society. Like, are they here? Do they have restaurants here?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so it wouldn't. But I mean, you got to vote.
Definitely throughout Pennsylvania.
Well, you got to vote with your wallet, right? I mean, if you're in the state of Pennsylvania, you got to vote with your wallet. And if you're somewhere where there's one of those restaurants and you don't like this behavior, you got to vote with your wallet, and you got to make sure that these people know why you're doing what you're doing. We've had this conversation before as it relates to like the networks, where CNN, MSNBC, they know when they put these far left maniacs on there that people are not going to watch. Reasonable people are not watching the network, which should hurt you with advertisers. It does. Hurt you with ratings. It does. But the people who run the place just simply do not care. They're fine. Hey, it's costing us money. Don't care.
It is a private business, and I was curious to see if they were franchise owned, and they're not. So they can do whatever they want. The CEO's wife is a big Democrat supporter. If that's the way you're going to do it, that's fine. Don't expect any Republicans to go there and spend their money.
Well, you're right. It's not about whether they can do it. You know me, my theory on like all these businesses should be able to treat people however they want to treat them, and then we as a decent society
decide how you're going to react to it.
Right. I mean, whether it's there are people who are behave in a variety of manners towards a variety of people with a variety of biases, many of them wholly ridiculous and far outside the mainstream society. I've always believed society will police itself, and we don't need the government to intervene. And in this case, if you are going to eat at that place, if you're going to eat at that corporation, you're emboldening the Democrats, and now you know that, and you can decide whether the sandwich is that good that you want to embolden the Democrats. That's up to you.
Yep. Okay, so Donald Trump was at a football game. He also had something to say about Kamala Harris. We're going to get to that. But up next.
So Abdul will join us. He has a new poll out, and boy, those Democrats, well, it's not going well. And it's not going well for our old friend Indiana Beto. Indiana Beto is doing so bad. So bad, Casey.
All right, we're going to hear from Abdul about his polling coming up next on 93 WIBC.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Attention all Hoosiers, a historically important election is headed our way. The time to prepare for the election is now. Are you registered to vote? Do you have a plan to vote? The Indiana Secretary of State's office wants to remind you, registering to vote or updating your registration is fast, easy, and can be done online at indianavoters.com. You must be registered 30 days before Election Day. So get registered and get out to vote. This message is sponsored by the Indiana Secretary of State's office.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The cost is adding up. It's mostly cloudy, 68 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. With the number of people killed rising, Hurricane Helene and its remnants is quickly becoming one of the most costly storms ever. President Biden is set to visit impacted regions this week. Biden also spoke on the phone Sunday with Georgia and North Carolina's governors. Nearly 100 people are now believed to have been killed throughout the southeast. Israel and Lebanon may soon be at war.
Israel and Hezbollah are preparing for the possibility of an Israeli ground offensive into southern Lebanon, with Hezbollah's deputy chief saying this morning, if that happens, Hezbollah will be ready for it. And Israel's defense minister Yoav Gallant saying killing Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah for 32 years, was an important step, but not the final step. This as Israel continues surging resources to its country's north.
Fox's Nate Foy, the death of a highwayman.
From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California.
Chris Christopherson, a singer, songwriter, actor, Rhodes Scholar, English professor, and many other things, has died. He passed away Sunday at the age of 88. He won multiple CMAs for his music and even a Golden Globe as an actor. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. A bad start to the week. The Dow was off 73 at the opening bell to 42,583. The NASDAQ is down 46 to 20,174. And the S&P 500 is down 12 to 5,779. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
We believe strongly in the power of education.
We also understand the impact it has on the success of communities across Indiana.
We see this through our work at the IHSAA, teaching 160,000 student athletes through education-based athletics.
And we see this through our work at Ivy Tech, where over 90,000 Indiana high school students are earning dual college credit while finishing high school.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig.
And I'm Dr. Sue Ellsperman, President of Ivy Tech Community College.
We're proud to partner with organizations organizations like Ivy Tech that prioritize education and community.
At Ivy Tech, we have more than 70 programs.
Helping Indiana high school students get a head start on college and their careers.
We offer the state's most affordable tuition and have saved families over $100 million this year.
Providing learning opportunities for Hoosier students is how we build a strong Indiana. This is the power of community.
This is the impact of education.
This is your IHSAA.
Hey, it's autumn, and if you want to hit the road here the last half of the year, don't exactly know what you want to do or where you want to go, you join AAA. As a member, you get free travel planning plus the best available pricing for your trip. And, of course, all the roadside assistance available.
AAA Hoosier Motor Club members get free travel planning help, plus discounts on hotels, cruises, rental cars, and more. AAA travel agents will make sure you get the best price on that fall vacation. Plus, if you run into trouble anywhere on the road this fall, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas, lock your keys in the car. AAA has got you 24/7, 365, no matter where you are. So if you're not a member right now, become a member today. You're going to be glad you did. 844-GO, AAA GO, or visit AAA.com or stop by your local AAA office. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
If you reach back in your memory, a little bell might ring about a time that once existed.
Well, there's more polling in the Indiana political landscape, and it ain't good for the Democrats. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. Look who it is. Oh, he's normally with us on, well, what is it, Wednesdays now?
I lose track.
Well, you're everywhere. But he has commissioned a poll, and the news, like we said, not good for the Democrats. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, hello.
Good morning, my friend.
All right, so tell us about the poll real quick before we get into the details. What'd you do? Why'd you do it?
We surveyed 600 likely voters, margin of error 4%.
Likely voters?
Yes. These are people who are actually going to vote.
Yeah, okay.
Because I always tell people there's a difference between registered voters and likely voters.
Right.
And in races like this, you definitely want the likely voters, the people who will show up.
You identify those people based on, is there like some sort of starter question?
Yeah, like hi, blah, blah, blah. You guys ask questions. Do you plan to vote?
Yeah. Okay, very good. All right, so once we establish you are probably going to go to the polls, then we work from there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so what do we do? What are we doing?
What we did, then we started asking the questions. Some I put together, some my posts put together, some of our friends who helped us out put together because polling is actually kind of expensive. It's got even more expensive, just like the cost of everything else.
Right. And inflation hit the polling industry too, huh?
Yes, it did. The polls are a little bit taller these days, so you can't dance around the way
Now you have a group of people, because I think people are interested in this. When you say I'm going to commission a poll, you don't write the check yourself. You have a group of wealthy individuals who help you put these polls, fund these polls to the populace.
I would say what my friends do is they realize the valuable service that we do, and they want to support us continuing our mission.
Yeah, cut the crap here. That means like they've got things they want to know, and part of that is we'll throw some of your questions in there, and it's an economy of scale.
Help me.
Right.
Help you.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah, I think it's a really smart way of doing business, because that way you get things that are valuable to everyone, and they get things that are valuable to them, and you're like an arms dealer, but for polling.
Exactly.
All right, so the polling came out, and let's start at the top of the ticket. I mean, Indiana is still it's Donald Trump's to win. Donald Trump is going to win Indiana, right?
Yes, Donald Trump is like a 16-7-point lead right now here in the state of Indiana. He's 55-39.
55-39.
And by the way, that's pretty consistent with what we saw in the Fox 59 poll, which was 56-39, and also with the Destiny Wells LGN poll, which was 52. Theirs on the low end. Fox 9 was on the high end. Mine was like right in the middle, so it's average like 54-40.
All right, so let's talk about that. Destiny Wells, our old friend Indiana Beto, she's very mouthy on social media. Every week or so, it seems like they throw out some Democrat commission poll that shows the race being closer than anyone actually believes it is. The one legitimate poll that came out before yours was Emerson. She's getting smoked. What's the results in yours?
In the race for Attorney General, let me scroll down here. Rakita was ahead 55-39, so basically a 14-point
That's
difference.
16.
16-point difference.
Yeah, I know you don't like Rakita, but you can't take points away from him.
Look at the math wrong.
Yeah, so she's down 6. She was down 16, I believe, in that 15 or 16 in that Emerson poll.
Mm-hmm.
She's down 16 in your poll.
She should really stop being mouthy on social media and start doing actual campaigning relating to her job, shouldn't she?
Yeah, she was down 16 hours and basically 14 in the Fox 9. So obviously that's a pretty comfortable lead for Todd Rokita.
Which at some point, don't you have to look in the mirror and go, I got smoked by arguably the worst person to ever run for statewide office in Diego Morales. I'm about to get smoked by the second worst person to ever run for statewide office in Todd Rokita. Maybe the problem is me. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe I should can the I'm so proud to be with abortion doctor stuff. Maybe I should can the I'm going to fight with radio broadcasters on social media. And I don't know, Abdul, maybe campaign around what the job of the office actually is, which is to be the chief law enforcement officer for the state.
I would focus my energy on that I'll put it this way. In my usual diplomatic self, I would say I would probably focus on other things.
Yeah, well, I think that ship has sailed. Okay, so then there's Banks. We're going to have Andy Horning on the show later. Banks is basically MIA. He's not really campaigning. He's refusing to debate. And your poll says if you just want to win, that's probably a good strategy because he's boat racing everyone else.
Yeah, Banks in our poll was basically 49, 35. Which something I did think was interesting, though, is that with the exception of Donald Trump, all the Republicans running statewide are under 50%.
So Trump is outperforming the down-ballot Republicans.
Yes.
Which that's interesting to me, Casey, because if you look at a lot of these swing state polls in these Senate races, not everyone, but most of them, he's outperforming the Republican. Mm-hmm. And we hear, well, Trump is such a drag on the ticket. He appears, including it even in your poll, to be outperforming all the other Republicans.
Well, in the battleground states, it's actually the opposite.
No, it's not.
No.
He's winning these battleground states, and these Republicans are losing. They're losing in Ohio. He's winning easily. He's winning more in Florida. He's winning Arizona. No, it's not. It's the exact.
All the polls that I've seen have him winning or tied, with the exception of Bloomberg.
Yeah,
that's the only poll.
And these Senate Republicans are not winning most of them. No, it's exactly what your poll's showing, which is Trump is exceeding the down ballot Republicans.
He's exceeding the federal down ballot Republicans, but the state Republicans are a different ball of wax. They're, for the most part, unless you're the governor of North Carolina right now, when the whole springtime for Black Nazi thing that's going on over there. If you're Trump and you're Harris, you're tied, and in a lot of places. But if you're some of those statewide office holders, you're actually doing a little bit better.
But what I'm saying, Abdul, is in almost every Senate race, which is what people are paying attention to, Trump is exceeding the Republican. In every down-ballot statewide race that you polled, Trump is exceeding the Republicans. This narrative that Trump is a drag on the ticket is just simply not true, because even your poll is showing, as the Emerson poll showed, Trump is eclipsing these down-ballot Republicans. So this narrative that Trump's some bad guy that's killing the ticket is not true.
Yeah, but this is also Indiana.
But Abdul, listen to me. I'm going to say it slowly for you. In all of these swing states, the Senate races, Trump is beating the down-ballot Senate candidate. The guy in Ohio is losing to Sherrod Brown. Trump is easily winning Ohio. In Arizona, Kerry Lake is losing. Trump is winning every poll in Arizona. In Pennsylvania, Trump is ahead of McCormick. I don't know why we're having a debate about this. It's every poll is showing, and I'm saying your poll got it right. I don't know why you're fighting me on this. Trump is beating the down ballot Republicans.
And I'll take you at your word right now. We got to revisit this a little bit later, though.
Okay. Do you think that has to do with the fact that people are tired of the supermajority here in Indiana? That the other races, are underperforming?
Well, the thing is, too, you also got to keep in mind that Republicans have been running the show for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you bring something new and different to the table and sort of reinvent yourself every 10. It gets kind of old after a while.
Okay, so the only one that's remotely close, and this is because rainwater's in the soup, is the Braun McCormick race. You got what? Braun's up 7, is that right? 44-37.
Yeah. Braun was 44-37. Rainwater was about 9.
Yeah. So the Democrats are doing some sort of euphoric happy dance over this, and it's like, well,
we're only down by 7.
Well, first of all, yeah, you're excited you're only losing by 7, and 2, the only reason it's that close is you have a very strong libertarian who's clearly taking votes from the Republican.
Well, I look like this. Where I come from, a win is a win is a win, so I don't care why we won as long as we do.
Well, right.
Now, with that said, though, I do think it's interesting that Rokita Wells, had there been a libertarian running for attorney general, that would have probably seen a similar.
I agree, but this comes back to our conversation about the libertarians, which is you got to at some point stop being a Dungeons and Dragons social club and start being a real party. The fact they couldn't even field a candidate, you couldn't find one attorney. I mean, you can't ask Mark Rutherford to do it forever, right? I mean, there's not another person with a law license who's a libertarian who would
What's that look on your face?
I mean,
you look over here like what do you?
It's just ridiculous to me that these libertarians get mad when they're like, nobody takes us seriously, and then it's like, you can't even field a candidate for statewide. Even if you're going to get your brains beat in, you got to run somebody.
Part of being a political party versus a social club is I got like libertarians say we don't want to play that game. Like what are you talking about? These are the rules. You play by the rules. You get in charge and you change the rules. That's how this works. And if you want to be serious, and I think libertarians are like still in that transitional phase. You got to move from that Dungeons and Dragons, the People's Friend of Judea Club, Monty Python's The Life of Brian, and start getting serious about winning.
Well, to get serious about winning, that all comes down to money.
In part, money is a big deal. But you don't need a whole lot of money to be competitive in a lot of places here in Indiana. If you target it just right, and say move away from television and move toward digital social media, because that's where the audience is.
Did you learn anything interesting? You asked questions outside of the candidates. You asked kind of questions about how are you feeling about this topic, or have you done that topic? Anything stand out to you in your poll and these sort of non-politically oriented questions?
Actually, yes. Although a majority of Hoosiers thought, a plurality of Hoosiers thought the state was going in the wrong direction. Eric Holcomb, we asked, I think a good job Holcomb did over the past 8 years. He was like 55-35.
Which is the exact opposite of the Emerson poll. So how do we square that one?
I was right.
Oh, very good. Right?
That's easy with that one.
Very good. Does that make any sense to you, though? Sometimes, right, you will, no matter how accurate you try to make a poll, you're just going to get something that's stupid that doesn't make any sense. So everybody thinks the state's going in the wrong direction, but this guy's doing a wonderful job running us in the wrong direction.
Well, actually, my pollster actually had an interesting theory that he brought up when we were having the conversation. He was like, you can think Eric is doing a great job and everything is fine. However, he called it sort of the social media impact, that you'll look on social media, you see what your friends do. My friends don't look at they're taking vacations or they're at this nice dinner place, blah, blah. My life sucks. So you could see the impact of that. And that's something we probably have to look at, next time. How much social media do you consume, the next time we poll? Because that could have an influence. Like, hey, Casey and Rob, they're, at this really great place.
Yeah.
I'm stuck at home. My life sucks, but I think Eric Holcomb's doing a fine job.
All right, so if you had any piece of advice to the Democrats before we let you go.
And one other thing, too, we did ask the marijuana question, and we didn't ask it to be legal, because that's pretty much settled for. We asked, have you ever tried it? 41% said they tried it at least twice. Another 14% said once. Another 41% said no, never had. Then 5% were unsure. My theory is, if you don't know, that means you probably did, and you did it right.
And you don't want to admit it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, any advice for the Democrats on how to not keep getting smoked in these statewide races based on your polling?
I say it's the Howard Dean approach. You run candidates everywhere, and you run candidates that fit the district.
Yes, thank you. All right, and we'll be posting everything at indypolitics.org.
If you're a cheat sheet subscriber, you got it already.
I already got it.
Early preview.
Is this the last one you're going to do before the election?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with any luck, maybe it'll be the last one you do, period, because it sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, it is a lot of work. Well, luckily, next year there are no elections.
Yeah, that's very good. Yes. All right, Abdul Kim Shabazz, thank you.
Thank you.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel show, Biden signs new executive orders on gun control. We'll ask the gun guy, Guy Relford, about it. 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
Are you ready to take control of your safety? Premier Arms is the place to consider, and they're more than just a gun store. Premier Arms is a community for empowered women dedicated to helping you find the perfect firearm. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. That's how I felt when I shopped at Premier Arms. I asked them a lot of questions, and they treated me with respect. Premier Arms in Brownsburg. They're also online at premierarms.com. Their phone number, 317-858-3030.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. Truck drivers, are you tired of missing out on valuable time at home? At Midwest Logistics Systems, you can find a local dedicated job that gets you home every day. Plus, we offer predictable Monday through Friday schedules with occasional Saturdays. As an MLS driver, you'll haul 100% no-touch freight, earn performance and safety bonuses, and have access to full benefits. Don't wait. Upgrade your driving job today. Search jobs and apply now at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com. That's MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
So over the weekend, Donald Trump began his day in Wisconsin for a rally. Supposed to take place outside. It was moved indoors due to a Secret Service staffing shortage. And then afterwards, he flew to Alabama to take in the action between those two top four SEC programs, the Alabama-Georgia game. Boy, was that an exciting game.
Yeah, screwed up and went to bed.
Did you?
Well,
you missed the end of that game?
Very busy on Saturday and had a lot going on, and I just was not liking the way it was going.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I was 5-0 yesterday on my Degenerates Next Door podcast sports. 4-0 in the NFL, 1-0 in the President's Cup.
Yeah.
Saturday wasn't quite as good, but yeah, I went to bed and woke up and saw the final score. I thought, wait, what?
What happened there?
And then I realized at one point Georgia actually had the lead.
They did. Game. It was like for 13 seconds they had the lead. The dejected look on those Alabama fans when Georgia scored.
Yeah.
And then Alabama turned right around and scored again.
So
it was incredible.
So Trump goes, he's in the box, like John Daly's in there.
Kid Rock, Hank Williams Jr.
And he's getting this just treated like, the rock star that he is. And then when you compare and contrast that to Walls at the Michigan.
Wow. Yeah. One, Donald Trump, he's throwing merchandise and hot dogs and popcorn to the fans, and they're chanting, USA, USA, 4 more years. And then you go to Walls, who's in Michigan, and he's getting booed. He grabbed his crotch. He gave the crowd the finger. Compare and contrast these two. This is Donald Trump's reaction.
Seems fairly positive.
Yeah. They're very excited about this. Here's Walls.
Hey, I'm here. Boo!
Oh, yeah. So apparently those Wolverines fans, not too impressed by Tim Walz.
Well, and again, not to say that some college football fans are the end all. Here's what end all be all, but here's what's interesting. Donald Trump has clearly made inroads with Gen Z men.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you look at who's supporting. You saw the frat kids at Alabama, and they were dressing up like Trump. And
they were acting like it was signing day, and they would pick the hat.
Yeah.
Picking the MAGA hat.
So Trump is doing very well with Gen Z men. Now, I'm sure he's not doing well with women, but there is clearly, with the younger men in this country, the Democrat arguments have not only fallen flat, but they have worked against them. And it is somewhat refreshing that while I think millennial men have been stripped of this, they have bought this bullcrap toxic masculinity stuff. The Gen Zers appear to be having none of it, Casey.
It's interesting, and we're going to get to it later. Jen Psaki in her lifestyle show, she was interviewing Doug Emhoff. And
the guy who cheated on his wife with the nanny?
With the nanny, yeah. And she was saying that, you're bringing a new masculinity. I don't think anybody believes that, but we'll hear from her later. So Kamala Harris attempted to troll Trump at that Alabama game, failing miserably. She was going to have a plane flying a banner that said Trump's punting on second debate. It was expected to fly over the stadium. However, weather got in the way, and that was canceled.
It does feel like, and look, it's Trump. So one day to the next, you just hold. I was thinking about this morning. Like you hold your breath every day with Trump, and he's not going to do something just totally off the wall. It does feel like the momentum is with Donald Trump. It does feel like the enthusiasm is with Donald Trump. You look at the polls that came out for the first time, the Real Clear Politics average in Pennsylvania has him ahead. He's doing very well in the swing states. Look, I don't know what planet Abdul is living on, but that conversation we had in the last segment, Trump is eclipsing every single swing state U.S. Senate candidate. And Trump is not the drag on the ticket. The Republicans are the drag on the Republican ticket. People like Trump. If anything, the Republicans are dragging Trump down because he's affiliated with their brand. People are sick of the Republicans. People are sick of being lied to by the Republicans. They're sick of inaction by the Republicans. They're sick of the Republicans not following through, which is why in all of these swing states, Trump is doing better than the down ballot Senate candidate.
Yeah, that was surprising because that just came out yesterday that every poll, with the exception of Bloomberg, has Trump winning in the swing states, or at least tied.
Yeah.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
You don't have to keep living with that joint pain. Tony Katz here, and real lasting relief is possible with help from QC Kinetics. People are getting their lives back, getting their mobility back. Thanks to QC Kinetics, they're the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. Advanced regenerative medicine, people. So it's utilizing your body's own healing properties. They're highly concentrated. They're placed into your achy joints, the back pain, the shoulder pain, the knee pain, gone. These are cutting edge treatments. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. And a lot of you're not getting that problem taken care of because you're afraid of missing time at work. That's not the deal with QC Kinetics. These protocols developed by medical professionals and under the leadership of Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a former orthopedic surgeon and a pioneer in clinical regenerative medicine. You owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and in Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
To learn more, eligible members call 87 Pathway 4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Hoosiers still without power from Friday's foray with Helene, plus where a woman was killed after being hit by a train over the weekend, and Hoosier diabetics want more reasonable prices for the insulin that they need to survive. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Helene is now blamed for at least 101 deaths. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Many far away from where the hurricane first hit.
I came from Florida after Hurricane Ian. I thought this is the area to be safe, and this is not safe.
She is in Asheville, North Carolina. So is Fox's Steve Harrigan surveying flood damage.
People who I was talking to coming down to look at their house or their job, and the buildings are simply gone.
Roads have also been washed out in the mountains around there after some areas got over 2 feet of rain.
And one of the real stressors is, with more than 600 people still unaccounted for, is how high that death toll could go. And the stress is in part coming from the lack of cell phone service. People can't get out and tell people they're safe. They can't move around, and loved ones can't communicate with one another.
There's also flooding and storm damage from South Carolina to Tennessee to Florida. Vice President Harris will focus today on FEMA's storm response. Former President Trump will meet with storm victims today in Georgia. The day after blaming Harris for record illegal immigration, saying she should be prosecuted.
She painted him as the agent of chaos, said he didn't solve the shortage of border agents or immigration judges as president, and killed the bipartisan border bill that she has now co-opted as her own platform. Trump has fired back, especially after new ICE data revealed tens of thousands of illegal migrants with sex offenses and homicide convictions are running around the country undetained.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The suspect in the second Trump assassination attempt, Ryan Ruth, back in court next hour to be arraigned on additional charges. Iran's vowed revenge against Israel for killing Hezbollah's leader in Lebanon, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has just delivered a message to the Iranian people.
Iran's tyrants don't care about your future, but you do. When Iran is finally free, and that moment will come a lot sooner than people think, everything will be different.
More Israeli strikes in Lebanon today killed more Iran-backed militants, including Hamas's leader in Lebanon. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Getting the lights back on. It's mostly cloudy and 69 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. AES Indiana workers are still busy with the cleanup from storms caused by the remnants of Hurricane Helene.
There are now 1,100 incidents. Again, this means that there are 1,100 separate jobs that our crews are responding to.
There are now just under 6,000 customers still without power this morning, says AES Indiana spokeswoman Claire Rice. Most Duke Energy customers are back online. A woman was trapped in her car. Jake McDaniel reports on why it took some experts to rescue her.
That happened when an 80-foot oak tree fell on her car while she was at a stop sign on the north side from Hurricane Helene. Neighbors rushed to the scene, moving branches to rescue her from the SUV. She was able to escape with almost no injuries, although her car took a lot of damage. The tree also took down a power line, and neighbors put a lot of effort into help. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A woman killed in a collision with a train Sunday evening in Richmond. The elderly woman stepped into the path of a Norfolk Southern train heading through the city for unknown reasons, say police. She was alive when EMTs came and took her to the hospital, but by the time they got her there, she was dead. Some diabetic people in Indiana are struggling to pay for the insulin that they need to survive, like Molly King, who lives in Crawfordsville.
There have been times in my life where I have not been able to afford my medication, and it has landed me in the intensive care unit for weeks on end in a diabetic coma.
She tells Wish TV that when politicians, Republican and Democrats, say that they have lowered the price of insulin, well, they're leaving out the fact that those price caps only apply to those on Medicare and Medicaid. Anthony Richardson left the Colts game Sunday with a hip injury.
I'm feeling a little sore, but, feeling good. We got the W today. Great execution by everybody on the field today. I think I'm going to be good. Just a little soreness.
Joe Flacco tagged in and threw 2 touchdowns as the Colts beat the Steelers 27-24. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, September 30th, 5 minutes after 10. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and let's talk about what this federal judge decided on Friday. Blocked a law creating a 25-foot buffer zone around law enforcement officers during certain activities.
Yeah, so we've talked about this before on this show about this is, a really bad law, which is on par for the Indiana General Assembly under the Republican supermajorities, where they're not spending their time focused on solving the property tax issue or the gas tax or the Medicaid debacle. They're focused on solving problems that don't actually exist. And in this case, they passed a law which said that basically if you are within 25 feet of a law enforcement officer conducting business, you're not interfering, you're not inserting yourself, you're not prohibiting them from doing their job, but if you're within 25 feet, then they can throw the full weight of the legal system at you, and you could end up in big trouble. And this case is currently working. There was another court case related to this working itself through the legal system, and then this judge the other day said, yeah, this law is way too vague and there's not enough clarification on it, and issued an injunction related to this law, which is the way it should be. 25 feet is a large amount of distance. Now, you should never be interfering with law enforcement. You should never be interfering in an investigation or an apprehension or anything like that. Allow the law enforcement to do their job. But 25 feet, that's, what is that? That's, what is that? That's 10, almost 10 yards. That's a huge amount of distance. And in an era where you can film people, you should be able to film law enforcement doing their jobs. There's no issue with any of that. That creates sort of an undue burden on transparency.
So a lot of people are saying that this limits your ability to hold law enforcement accountable if you have that much distance between you. Of course, the Attorney General's office sought to dismiss the case, which the judge denied.
Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously, one case had been upheld. That's the case, but the ACLU was involved in that, and it's in the appeals process. It will be fascinating to see ultimately how this gets ruled on, because look, in the modern era, being able to film and record law enforcement and hold them accountable, I think is a good thing we would want in this society. Now, again, there is a huge difference between filming and holding on to records of law enforcement doing their job and not listening or responding to law enforcement if they tell you got to step back or whatever. I think because they're trying to do their job. There's a balancing act here, and I think the General Assembly, and I think the judge said this in this ruling, if I'm remembering properly, that the law went the other way too far, right? There's a difference between...
Overcorrection.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's a difference between saying you people or society or whatever has got to allow law enforcement to do their job and give them some distance, and then putting this 25-foot burden on people.
Okay, Taylor Swift's approval rating among Republicans dropped year over year, nearly half saying they view her negatively after she endorsed Kamala Harris.
Wait. Say that again.
Her approval rating has dropped. Nearly half of people say they view her negatively after she endorsed Kamala Harris. This according to a new NBC News poll. Isn't that interesting that they would poll about Taylor Swift?
Well, because they think she's some sort of end-all, be-all, and this is... The right endorsements make a difference. If it's the right people with the right relationships with the right audience, they make a difference. But the reality is Taylor Swift has done this before and it hasn't worked. The people who engage in her concerts probably already have an opinion anyway, or simply are not going to vote.
Or aren't old enough to vote.
Well, right. And great point, Casey. And so much of winning elections is about a relationship between the candidate and the voter. And ultimately, it's the candidate that drives that relationship with the voter to compel the voter to be able to get them across the finish line. Now, theoretically, if you're good at building those relationships or those bridges, can some star power help you? Yes, but ultimately, what's the line from Tommy Boy? I can take a dump in a box and mark it guaranteed, but all you bought was a guaranteed box of crap, right? I'm paraphrasing there, but that's what it is, right? Kamala Harris is a horrible candidate. Kamala Harris is a highly unlikable individual, and there's no compelling reason to vote for her other than if you hate Donald Trump, and that's, I think, the camp that Taylor Swift fits into. So you're not gonna endear yourself to anyone. She's not America's sweetheart. She's some scorned, man-bashing woman who has a large group of followers who share her worldview, and outside of that, that's it.
Okay,
not moving the needle at all in politics.
According to their poll, and they polled last year as well, so they were able to compare year over year. 26% of Republicans viewed her negatively last year. That number has jumped up to 47% this year. And last year, 12% of Republicans said that they had a positive attitude about her, and that was down from 28%.
But it's a whole world where it doesn't matter because she's infinitely wealthy. She's going to sell out every concert. She can say or do whatever, and it's not going to hurt her ticket sales or album sales or whatever. So there's no ramification for her weighing in because she's essentially Teflon on whatever she does. and the people who share her worldview that it's always the man's fault and that no matter how many failed relationships you're in, you're always the victim or whatever, then she's going to be fine. She's going to sell all 3 shows at Lucas Oil Stadium. It'll be $1 gajillion to get a ticket. So it's not harming her. There's no ramification for her. And let's face it, while the polling is against her on this, those people weren't going to vote for Kamala Harris anyway.
Right.
It wasn't like people have gone. It's not like people have gone against Kamala Harris because of Taylor Swift's endorsement for the most part. It's just simply reinforcing societal norms, and it's a reminder that celebrities don't really move the needle on political endorsements for the most part.
What it does show you is that when they do talk about politics, it's a big turnoff to a lot of people.
You're right, because here's the reality. Taylor Swift is not paying your grocery bill.
Right.
Taylor Swift is not paying your mortgage. Taylor Swift is not filling up your gas tank. You know, I heard Bruce Springsteen say this years ago, and it's absolutely right, that the best music provides you something to face the day with. Period. That's what they do, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's some form of identifiability. There's some form of escapism of relevance that, oh my gosh, so-and-so sees the world the way I do and they made it out, so I can make it out, you know. All of those things factor into it. But very few people are like, yeah, Taylor, she gets me. She knows what's up.
Okay, so the Harris campaign latched onto her endorsement, so much so that they had some ads running in New York City and Las Vegas, which were Taylor Swift themed. And we didn't talk about this. It did catch the attention of Donald Trump, who posted, "I hate Taylor Swift," on his Truth Social.
And what did it do? It didn't hurt. Remember, they were like, it's so embarrassing. Donald Trump, he just won't focus on the issues. It didn't affect
He
anything.
was talking to his base, and they feel the exact same way.
Exactly.
So they were cheering him on. Now, I don't know if you saw this. There was this guy. He bought a Taylor Swift guitar. This was at a live auction. He paid nearly $4,000 for it, $3,200 at this auction for this signed Taylor Swift guitar. And what did he do? He just destroyed it.
Joking. Guess we don't need the wall hanger.
Took a hammer to it.
Hey, Gary. Now take that, hang up that busted thing.
So I get it. He's trying to make a point, and he's getting lots of cheers in the crowd. But when you think about it, he just threw away $4,000.
Well, it's my understanding it was a charity auction.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was giving money to whatever the charity was. And then, yeah, it is a bit of a bad look, though, that you're like, okay, well, maybe you could have just like sold it again for charity if you wanted to give the thing to charity and made more money for you. But hey, look, it's his money and he gave the money to charity. And think of all. Now, this guy did not exactly strike me as a guy who's going to capitalize on a viral moment. He didn't exactly look like a guy that even has a Twitter account.
Right.
This is very active. But boy, he sure got his $4,000 worth of publicity out of it.
He did. Okay, Bill Maher, he said something interesting. The founding fathers were the Gen Z of their day when they were, they started the country at a young age, right?
Well, you
talking about all these Gen Zs.
Yeah, you think about the fact that some of these guys were 18, 19, 20 years old. We think of them in hindsight because we have we benefit from being able to look at things hundreds of years after they've happened. And you think of these guys as they've been painted through history, which are these, leaders of state and leaders of a nation and these super distinguished people. And you lose sight of the fact that some of them were extraordinarily young when they founded this country.
Mm-hmm. Alexander Hamilton, a teenager. Here's what Bill Maher had to say.
But how about looking at the actual ideas in it? I won't hold my breath for that because only 14% of 8th graders are proficient in history now and only 22% in civics, which may be why 4 in 10 Gen Zers say the authors of the Constitution are best described as villains. Wow. It's amazing since in 1776, James Monroe was 18. Alexander Hamilton was 21 and James Madison 25. Joe Biden was only 30. America's founders They were the Gen Z of their day. And when they were your age, they started a country. What the f have you done? So, no, the Constitution isn't perfect because it wasn't written by Taylor Swift, but... And yes, the founders made excruciating compromises, obviously slavery. But slavery was a deal breaker for the southern states. So there would have been two countries. And then to end slavery in North America, it would have involved invading a sovereign nation instead of having the moral high ground of keeping a union together. Would that have been better? History's complicated, and Gen Z reasoning is not. They think they're pure, but they're really just simplistic. They know two things. White people did some very bad things, and no, that's it. That's all they know. That's what they know.
Okay, we've got to hear from the new, well, we're going to hear the new Joe Biden nickname.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it launched on Saturday Night Live over the weekend. And there's a debate tomorrow.
That's right, the vice presidential debate.
There's
Yes.
a debate tomorrow.
Right, yes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those things coming up from 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
You're not married, right? No. After a certain time being married, you realize that sleeping in separate beds, a genius idea.
Well, that's just not very romantic at all.
Oh, we're not talking about romance. We're talking about rest. And if you want something that's not romantic, be in a relationship where nobody's getting any rest. By the way, my wife and I do not have separate beds. She can't get enough of me.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. You know, we talk about all the time on this show the amazing impact Life Church has had on my life, on my wife's life, on my family's life. And this Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, check out Life Church. Many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years, and I think one of the big reasons why is at Life Church, you're so much more than just a number. You are an individual. They're warm, they're welcoming. They would love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family this coming Sunday. Campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. You can learn more about everything. See it all for yourself, lifechurchin.com.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
There's no way that's real.
I believe it is real because it looks like it took place the exact same time he was asked about the hurricane.
That has to be artificial intelligence.
I don't think so.
Even for Biden, that has to be artificial intelligence.
What I think happened here, what we're talking about is there's a clip circulating online where Joe Biden is asked about strikes in Yemen.
So he's either getting,
and I don't think he heard the question.
No, he doesn't know what his name is, Casey. So he gets out of it. Looks like some sort of SUV or something, and he's stumbling. And I mean, at this point, he can barely walk on his own. And I don't know, maybe we can get this clip to Kev here pretty quick so he can pull it up. I'm floored, even by Biden standards. I'm floored. So he gets asked about the strikes in Yemen, and he confuses it for a worker strike.
Well, he's talking about the port strike that's supposed to start tomorrow.
Right, which, by the way, I'm sure Kamala loves this, that literally, early voting starts in a couple days in most of these states, and literally Biden's prepared to back these workers in shutting the ports down, which will totally cripple the economy. I'm sure she's just thrilled to death about that. But he gets asked about this strike in Yemen, and he starts answering about a workers' strike.
I think I can play it here. Let's see if we got this.
Mr. President, will you deploy more U.S. troops to the Middle East?
Mr. President, has Netanyahu gone too far?
Any comment on the strikes in Yemen, Mr. President?
Okay, so he said they got to settle. They're asking about the missile strikes in Yemen, and he says they got to settle the strike. I'm supporting the collective bargaining effort. Not what he was being asked about at all.
That's real.
Yeah,
I thought. That's because he's like looks like a zombie walking towards those people when they get his attention, and I thought that's got to be. Oh, that's so.
No, because then the next question was about the hurricane, and he says we're doing all we can. So, yeah, no, that was real.
Oh, that's the president.
That's your president.
Oh, that's great. By great, I mean that's frightening beyond belief.
I don't know. I kind of felt like maybe he didn't hear. All he heard, or in his cooked brain, all he heard was the word strike.
Does he know there's a strike in Yemen? Did he have any idea what's taking place in Yemen?
Yeah, that's that's also scary.
What does he do all day?
Well, he doesn't wake up till 10 or 11, and then he's done by 4. He sits on the beach.
What does the president do all day?
Not governing, right? Because he said he can't do anything else for the victims of that hurricane.
That's crazy that that's real.
So over the weekend, SNL opened their 50th season. They did it with a Joe Biden roast. Dana Carvey became SNL's 10th impersonator of Joe Biden. So it was a pretty good portrayal of him. Jim Gaffigan played Tim Walz. Dana Carvey played Joe Biden. And they also had Bowen Yang play J.D. Vance. Here was the show's open.
Hey, listen up, everyone. We couldn't have gotten here without one man, and his name is Joe Biden. Get on out here, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
That's right. A lot of people forget I'm president, including me. But guess what? And by the way, I think I did a pretty good job. I passed more bills than any president in history. But folks, we still got work to do, no joke. I'm being serious right now. Come on. And guess what? And by the way, the fact of the matter is, the rich don't pay their fair share. They gotta pay the fair share. We gotta build back better. The build back the better, the better, the better, the better. Build back the better. Can't believe it's not butter.
Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you for putting country first and for handing over the reins.
I didn't want
to. Okay, how old do you think Dana Carvey is?
Oh, good question. I'm going to say mid-70s, 74.
Kev, how old do you think Dana Carvey is?
I feel like he's
in his 60s, maybe 64.
Kev would win on The Price is Right. He's 69.
Okay.
Oh.
I would not have thought he was that old but I guess it's been that long. I mean, Wayne's World was 30 plus years ago, so that would be about right.
He did a good job of playing Joe Biden, took his time to get out to the podium and then, did the scary, creepy whisper into the microphone. There's going to be a debate tomorrow, vice president debate, right? You got J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. They're going to meet for their first and only debate. It's hosted by CBS, begins at 9 o'clock, and you've got Norah O'Donnell and also Margaret Brennan who are going to be hosting it.
Vance is going to destroy him.
It's being reported that Walz is nervous about this. They always have this debate prep,
right?
And Representative Tom Emmer is helping Vance with his prep, and you've got Pete Buttigieg, who is playing the part of J.D. Vance, helping Tim Walz.
If you can't beat Tim Walz in a debate, you should just go ahead and hang it up, right? I mean, now they'll stack the deck against him, but I mean, come on. I mean, this is going to be like, the Americans against the internationals this weekend. Which, by the way, good on your husband getting in on that free money.
I know. Well, good on you for recommending that bet.
Very rare Vegas makes huge mistakes, but they made a huge mistake on those odds. And if you were following at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter or listening to the podcast, the Degenerate Tech Store podcast or whatever, that was free money. But the point is, it's a totally one-sided affair here. I mean, Walz is an idiot, and Vance, whatever you want to say about him, he knows his stuff. Speaking of debates, we have a debate this week.
We do. Don Rainwater is going to be joining us.
October the 2nd, which is that Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
I better get going on this.
Yeah.
The 11 o'clock hour, since the CBS 4 Fox 59 people kicked Rainwater off the debate stage. What is it with them and kicking people off the debate stage?
Yeah.
We thought that was crap, even though we're supporting someone else. We thought that was crap because Don should be allowed to debate. So I'm going to debate Rainwater for a full hour Wednesday, October the 2nd at 11 o'clock.
I've got the rules. We should review those.
Oh, we have rules.
Yeah, we have rules.
Perfect.
We'll
nice of you to let me know the rules 2 days before the debate, Casey.
Well, I figure you kind of know what they're going to be, right?
Well, this is not, look, don't go all David Muir here on us. I mean, we want you to call it fair down the middle. Don't be fact-checking Rainwater.
Well, that's point number 10 on our rules, fact-checking.
Point number 10?
Yeah, we will not incorporate fact-checkers to address inaccurate statements in real time.
Should we do the rules when we come back?
You want to do that?
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
All right, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
What is 988? It's a way forward. It's a listening ear. It's whatever help you need when you need it. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers trained crisis specialists ready to talk to you 24/7. If you or someone you love is experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis in their life, call or text 988. Want more information? Visit 988indiana.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She plans to visit. Radar is clear, but it's cloudy. 69 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The vice president plans to press pause on her campaign and visit the areas impacted by Hurricane Helene. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
Vice President Kamala Harris is cutting a West Coast campaign swing short to return to Washington, D.C. to take part in briefings on FEMA's response to Hurricane Helene. She was briefed on Sunday on the federal response during her trip and had a second Las Vegas stop planned for today, which was canceled. Harris plans to travel to the storm-hit region when it's possible to do so without disrupting emergency response operations. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Israel carrying out raids in southern Lebanon ahead of a possible ground operation. This comes as tensions continue to rise in the Middle East, with some fearing an all-out regional war. Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah have been trading fire since last week. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Call 800-631-9123, 800-631-9123. That's 800-631-9123.
My brother never checks on dad, or my sister won't make time to take mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
The phone number is 317-684-8444 for your voicemails if you'd like to get involved, and we've got a couple of them coming up. But first, Rob.
Yes.
You have to be prepared.
Uh-oh.
You need to know the rules of the debate that you're participating in.
Yeah, so just a reminder, the CBS 4 Fox 59 people told Rainwater, even though he'll be getting hundreds of thousands of votes, he was not allowed to participate in their debate because they have some ridiculous polling threshold you have to meet. Now, in fairness, Don did not meet that polling threshold in large part because of our fabulous endorsement for Mike Braun. So I felt a little guilty about all of this.
But at the same time, you want people to be able to hear.
Absolutely.
His opinion.
Hundreds of thousands of people are going to vote for Donald Rainwater. And if you are on the ballot in the state of Indiana, given the high ballot access threshold, you should absolutely be allowed to debate. And you and I both said that we think that's hot garbage. So the day of the debate, that night, McCormick and Braun are going to debate each other. look, we're supporting Braun, but that guy is about as entertaining as toast, and McCormick ain't much better. So we said, let's give the people something to look forward to. So we'll invite Rainwater in, and he and I will do a little hour-long debate ski for the public to consume ahead of the main event.
Okay. So would you like to know the rules?
Yeah, so I charged Casey, just like we did this in the spring with the primary. I said, you come up with all the rules. You're the moderator. I don't want to have any inside info. I'll play by whatever rules you want me to play. And by the way, just to be clear, I'm not debating as Braun. Like, I'm not defending Braun's positions. Rainwater and I are just going to debate on, like, if I were actually running for governor. I just want to make that very clear that I'm not representing any team or a part of any campaign. I'm debating as I would debate if I were running for governor. So what are the rules?
The rules are broken down into 10 parts.
Oh, jeez, lady.
Eligibility and participation. Candidates must meet specific criteria, such as being officially recognized by the state's election board or by being Rob Kendall. Candidates must confirm participation by COB today.
Yeah.
Close of business today.
Rainwater's done that. I have a text message from him saying he will be here. So
so we have confirmation from both of you.
Yeah.
Great. Moderator and format. I will moderate the debate, ensuring fairness. The format will include direct questions from me.
Okay.
Audience questions and cross-examination between the candidates.
Oh, we can go back and forth.
Yes.
How exciting.
If you would like to submit a question, you can do that at 317-684-8444, or you can send it to me, Casey Daniels at WIBC.com.
Don't send them to me. I don't want to know anything.
Or Casey Daniels 317 on Twitter.
Yeah, don't send them to me. I don't want any competitive advantage. When I smoke Rainwater in this debate, I want it to all be on the up and up.
Okay, limit for responses. Candidates are given 2 to 3 minutes to respond to each question with a 60-second rebuttal or follow-up.
2 to 3 minutes? What are we writing, a Dickens novel here?
We'll be loose on this. Opening and closing statements. Unlike the vice presidential debate, which is happening tomorrow night.
Yeah.
They're not having any opening statements.
Uh-oh, so I get an opening statement?
We are having opening statements. You're allowed 1 to 2 minutes for an opening statement. Closing statement. Each candidate also 1 to 2 minutes for a closing statement, summarizing your position. The order of the opening statement will be determined by a coin toss. The reverse will serve as the order for closing statement.
Oh, so like if I go first at the opening, then I
go last.
I'll go last.
In the closing
statement.
statement.
The closing statement. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Okay. Question types. The moderator has prepared balanced questions covering key issues such as the economy, healthcare, education, taxes, etc.
So, like, you're not just going to ask a bunch of questions about how much the Brownsburg town government sucks, right? I mean, like, you're not going to stick it in my wheelhouse.
Do you want me to ask that question? Just a little throwaway. And again, these questions may include some pre-submitted questions from the audience, recorded 317-684-8444, or questions via social media, Casey Daniels 317. Also,
by the way, have you written these down somewhere so I can send them to Don? Like, can you email them to me or something so I can send them to him so he has
so
like a
he has the questions in advance?
No, I'm saying like the format, woman.
Oh, yes, the format, the rules, yes.
All this stuff you're saying here.
Absolutely.
You can give him the questions in advance. I don't care. I'll smoke him with the questions in advance.
What is he, Kamala Harris? We're not doing that.
Give him the questions in advance. It'll make it even more fun.
Also, candidate-to-candidate questions.
What?
We will allow candidates to pose 2 direct questions to their opponent.
Oh, so I could be like, Rainwater, why were you sweating so bad at the debate in 2020? I can hit him with anything.
And then he can ask you, like, Rob, why has Brownsburg not inducted you into the Hall of Fame? He wants to know that. Equal time, we're going to make sure that both candidates are given equal time to speak, avoiding disproportionate attention to any one candidate.
Yeah.
Now, conduct, professionalism. Are you ready for this?
Because I love all the time you put it.
Candidates must conduct themselves respectfully. I have complete authority. The moderator's decisions regarding time and conduct are final.
You know what we need to get you? We need to get you one of those little switches like the nun had in the Blues Brothers when she starts smacking them with it. We need to get you like one of those extended ones.
I need a ruler.
Yeah,
smack your knuckles with it. I will bring the bell in too, by the way. Kevin, listen up. Point 8 pertains to you.
All right.
Behavior.
Yeah.
The studio audience must remain quiet during the debate with no applause, cheering, or booing. Except at specified times.
Okay.
No booing, Kevin.
No booing.
Yeah.
Technical rules. Kevin, pay attention. microphones. Your microphone may be cut off if you exceed your time or violate the rules.
Oh, that's good stuff.
This will be a live broadcast. Any delays or technical issues will be handled swiftly. The debate will take place in the WIBC studios. The debate will happen on Wednesday, October 2nd at 11 a.m. And finally, fact-checking.
Yeah.
We will not incorporate fact-checkers to address inaccurate statements in real time.
All right, so let me make sure I got this right. So it's going to be 11 a.m., October the 2nd, me and Rainwater. I'm going to have like 1 to 2 minutes to make an opening statement. I'm going to have 1 to 2 minutes to make a closing statement.
Yep.
I'm going to be able to ask Rainwater a question.
Two
questions. I'll have like 1 minute to answer each question. And, okay. All right.
You good with that?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Should I even like all right, I'll ask the audience, since this will be okay, how much do you guys want me, let's face it, it's going to be like the Americans against the internationals. Like, I'm going to beat Rainwater into the dirt at this debate.
Depending on what the questions are.
Rigged. Do you guys want me to put a lot of prep into this, or you just want me to come in and wing this? Do you want me to put time into an opening statement? Do you want me to just make it up as I drive into work on Wednesday? How much do you guys, I'll leave it up to the people in the YouTube chat, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. How much time? Let's face it. So I did that one with Rittenhour during the spring, and I think people declared me the overwhelming victor in that one. Do we want to do that again, or what do we want to do here?
Now, would you like my thoughts on this?
Yeah,
subject?
absolutely.
Okay, because you come in here and wing it every day, and I actually have to put some time and effort coming up with the questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And clearly, I put a lot of time and effort putting
coming
up with the rules. I would prefer if you actually took this seriously, because we hear all the time, Rob, run for governor. Rob, you should run. You should be in office.
Yeah.
Well, let's prove what that would look like.
That's
okay.
true. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. I'll put some effort into it.
You gotta work.
Well, I'll dress up. I dressed up the last time. I'll wear clothes that fit, and I'll take it. No, that's fine. I'll take
your Schmedian
I'll
shirt.
take it very serious. I'll go home and write some just incredibly charismatic and earth-shattering opening statement, and then Rainwater will probably just declare himself defeated and walk out the door.
And then we can just do something else for the rest of the hour.
Do we have a phone call? We should do a phone call, shouldn't we?
Okay, we've got a couple phone calls. This first one, boy, they're coming at you. You ready for it?
Oh, how exciting.
This is your warm-up for the debate. Here we
This
go.
message is for Rob Kendall. Rob, I do not understand why you are so anti-Trump, okay? You are becoming Trump, if not much worse. Your constant bloviating and, just patting yourself on the back and declaring how wonderful and great you are. You could interchange the faces between Trump and yourself, and it would just be the same thing. Anyway, thank you.
All I have to say to that, Casey, is the prosecution rests. We're done here.
Okay.
This show has become a resounding success. Look, so I don't know. Is he mad? Is he mad that I am critical of Trump, or he's mad that I'm too much like Trump? Is he for Trump? Is he against Trump?
I don't know. He was kind of all over the place with that, wasn't he?
Right. And here's
what he's saying is that, how Trump is always like, some people say I'm the greatest president.
Right. Sure.
I don't know if they're right. They're probably right.
Yeah.
But
look, I don't make up the ratings.
That's true.
I don't control what people want to listen to.
And in fact, that's against the rules.
Really. I'm just reporting. I'm sort of like an extension of the WIBC newsroom.
Yeah.
Just reporting the facts to you.
Yeah.
As it relates to being critical of Trump, shouldn't we want? Look, I'm voting for Trump. I'm a Trump. We went to that nice Trump boat rally just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't act like he's some infallible human. And when he puts forward public policy that's not beneficial, or he says things that are impossible to have happen, or he acts like a squirrel,
call him out on it.
Are we so tribalistic that we can't even point out the obvious when people make mistakes? We shouldn't want that at all. All right, Kev's screaming. We have to take a break. Calm down, Kevin. It'll be fine. Calm down. Calm down.
Hammer's going to join us next. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel show, Biden signs new executive orders on gun control. We'll ask the gun guy, Guy Relford, about it. 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Hey, it's Robin. I've put my name behind Garage Doors of Indianapolis for the past 7 years because they're a local conservative company that does quality work on time. In many ways, Garage Doors of Indianapolis is the perfect Hoosier. Recently, they helped my family in a garage door pinch by arriving on site quickly and fixing the problem right away. For all of your garage door needs, call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 317-875-4577. 317-875-4577. Or visit them at doorstoday.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Truck drivers, are you tired of missing out on valuable time at home? At Midwest Logistics Systems, you can find a local dedicated job that gets you home every day. Plus, we offer predictable Monday through Friday schedules with occasional Saturdays. As an MLS driver, you'll haul 100% no-touch freight, earn performance and safety bonuses, and have access to full benefits. Don't wait. Upgrade your driving job today. Search jobs and apply now at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com. That's MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
If you've ever put off dealing with plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. Maybe you tried to fix a leaky faucet yourself, or you're wishing that slow drain is going to magically start flowing again. Well, it's not. Stop putting things off and call Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. They'll give you honest advice at a fair price, and they leave your home even better than they found it. That's ldsmithplumbing.com. And tell them your second favorite plumber in the whole world, Denny Smith, sent you. ldsmithplumbing.com.
Join WIBC this Saturday for the Home and Garden Show live from Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan at 114th and Allisonville Road from 9 to 1. Celebrate fall and book a ride on the Sullivan Express train to Pumpkintown with Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan and 93 WIBC.
There he is in a Buc-ee's t-shirt, Jason Hammer from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel program in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, and it is a good morning when you listen to the Degenerates Next Door podcast, because college football Saturday, I was a one-man wolf pack. I was rolling. We went 4-1 against the spread, and then NFL Sunday rolls around, and the representative of Brownsburg, 4-0, and he still got action tonight. So when you listen to our program, you make some profits.
And then the big winner for me was the President's Cup. Those people did not know their golf. There was just free money laying around out there.
My husband took full advantage of that.
Oh, my goodness. And, boy, I'll tell you what, if you'd have bet $1 million on everything I told you to bet on yesterday, you'd be so rich you'd never have to go to work again.
And you've got action tonight, because you're Mr. Monday Night.
I do. I try to spread. I try to do Sunday night and Monday night in my picks. That way I prolong my agony.
The show as a whole. I'm the Thursday night guy.
Yeah.
Rob's the Monday night guy. So that way you have gambling degenerate joy from Thursday all through Monday.
And I can't stand, like, if I lost on a Thursday or Friday, I feel like the whole week is ruined.
You're already starting in a hole, and that's tough.
It's just a bad vibe. So yeah, man, we were on fire this week. Degenerates Next Door, wherever you get your podcasts. And, boy, we almost won that Georgia game, too.
And to the guy who brought us the bottle last week, we hit another degenerate special thanks to the Fighting Eagles of Eastern Michigan beating the brakes off of Kent State.
Hey, I got a question for you. Are we about to be able to take credit for some dirtball getting executed?
I hope so. I don't know if it's one hell of a coincidence or if more people listen than they tell you, Rob, but last Tuesday I joined you because we were approaching the 1-year anniversary of the passing of a Beech Grove officer who lost his life in the line of duty. Lo and behold, a couple days later, we find out Todd Rokita's trying to tell the Indiana Supreme Court, hey, let's get this guy off our planet.
Yeah, isn't that something? You were talking about it on Tuesday with True Crime Tuesday, and then on Friday, Todd Rokita submitted that request for an execution date.
Long overdue. Again, a dirtbag that has been out of appeals for a long time. The things he did in the court, the tattoo that he got on his neck, trying to say it's not the officer's badge number, but it totally is. Yeah, when it happens, and I'm hoping it's sometime next year, I'm going to lobby with John Herrick of our newsroom. I want the credential.
Yeah.
If they give any media member a credential for this, I feel like it should be me.
You want to go?
And you should get a Sagamore of the Wabash for getting that guy executed. I think that if anybody's deserving of that, I feel like your appearance on our show really played a huge role in that. You should totally get one of those nice Sagamores of the Wabash from the governor.
I think Denny Smith has one of those, Sagamore of the Wabash.
How does he have one and we don't?
Denny Smith is an American treasure. Denny Smith and Dolly Parton, they are the two people in America we must protect at all costs.
Yeah, but think about all we've done for humanity, and we don't have Sagamores, and Denny Smith has a Sagamore.
Denny Smith, though, never did have a segment called How Have You Injured Your Crotch on his show.
Wait a minute. We're figuring it out.
And this is why, like, Hammer and Nigel's show, we win all types of awards for ratings and revenue, and we get named #1. But these specific awards, that Indiana broadcasters have and all these other things. Our show's a little edgy, even though we beat the brakes off of everybody in terms of ratings and revenue. They don't like How Have You Injured Your Crotch or Lewd Nude Dude in the News.
That guy can't even get into the Brownsburg Hall of Fame.
I think this is the year.
Have they already said no?
No. But I think tomorrow's the deadline.
Because I've got my paperwork in.
Well, yeah, and this is what I'm saying is I think with the new superintendent and the fact that the old high school principal gave the truck driver a ringing endorsement for me to be in, it's a real chance for the Education Foundation to say we're gonna bury the hatchet and we're gonna bring the community together, and we'll see if they want to extend that olive branch or not.
Which would mean more to you, the Brownsburg Hall of Fame or the Sagamore of the Wabash?
Oh, it's got to be the Sagamore of the Wabash. That's a statewide award, and nobody's done more for the entire state than me. So, it really is the same sort of argument. Who's done more for the town? Nobody. Nobody's done more than me. And then the state. Also you think about the amount of money I've saved people, and it's just really. I have 3 goals in life. We've laid them out. There's 3 things I'd like to accomplish before I bid adieu. 1 is win a Marconi. 2 is get a Sagamore the Wabash, and 3 is go in the Brownsburg High School Hall of Fame.
And number 4 is going 5-0 in the NFL. And that could happen tonight thanks to the Degenerates Next Door podcast.
What's coming up this afternoon?
We cracked the mic at 3:06. Man, we're going to talk about the damage that is in the eastern portion of the United States, the southeast. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's real bad. Monday Gun Day with Guy Relford, and we're going to have some fun, too.
Thanks, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business. Sure can. And the quality is guaranteed? Absolutely. Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right? For sure. How about this one? We'll beat it. Can you print menus, signs, and flyers? Sure can. How about blueprints? No problem. What about red prints? Not a real thing. What if they were? We'd print them. And they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how many customers are left to get the power back on for AES? Plus, where Indiana's elite search and rescue experts are being relocated now in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And still a missing Hoosier lottery ticket that needs to be cashed. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Still trying to recover from a hurricane, Florida to the Carolinas. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's been an incredibly
apocalyptic weekend for all of us here in Asheville, North Carolina.
There was historic flooding there that washed out roads, leaving hundreds in mountainous areas unaccounted for. No cell service, no running water. At least 35 of Helene's 100-plus deaths are in North Carolina. The storm hit Florida first.
The state's collaborating with county emergency management partners to open recovery shelters.
That's Governor Ron DeSantis a short time ago. We'll soon hear from President Biden on the disaster response. He plans to tour affected areas. Vice President Harris cutting her campaign trip out west short to focus on FEMA's federal aid. There are still more than 2 million power outages, Florida up to Ohio, many of them in Georgia, where Governor Brian Kemp just said,
"This hurricane, it looks like a 250-mile wide tornado has hit."
Former President Trump will go to hard-hit Valdosta, Georgia today. Fox's Alexandria Hoff is there.
He plans to get a briefing on the devastation. He's going to deliver remarks, and his campaign says he's also going to help distribute some supplies. And the need for help here, I mean, it is abundantly clear. You just have to look around, drive around a little bit. It is stunning.
It's back to federal court this hour for Ryan Ruth, the suspect in the second Trump assassination attempt.
He is accused of hiding near former President Trump's West Palm Beach, Florida golf course with a rifle while Trump was playing on September 15th. In addition to being charged with attempting to assassinate a major presidential candidate, Ruth is also charged with 3 federal firearms charges and a count of assaulting a federal officer.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers, a strike is looming at midnight that could hurt the economy. Dock workers at ports from New England to Texas could walk off the job in a contract dispute.
Businesses are very concerned about their goods getting trapped in the supply chain. Things like cars and car parts, even holiday gifts could get trapped.
Fox Business Network's Lydia Hu at the port in Bayonne, New Jersey. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Power slowly being restored. It's cloudy and 70 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. That for AES Indiana customers, says spokeswoman Claire Rice.
Since Friday, we've restored power to more than 85% of customers who have been impacted by Friday night severe weather system.
And she says just over 5,000 homes are still without power today. Duke Energy reporting just over 1,000 outages left as of this morning. Indiana Task Force 1 is relocating from Florida to Georgia. The 80-person team was activated by FEMA last Tuesday and sent to Florida that same day. They arrived in Florida just before Hurricane Helene made landfall and have been supporting residents and governments since then. A young woman killed in a shooting in Beach Grove late Sunday night.
This time we do not have a suspect in custody and we do not have a motive. However, we're asking for the public's help and assistance.
IMPD officer Tommy Thompson. It happened near South Arlington Avenue in 465. You hear about Hoosier lottery winners every week, but some of those winners never cash in their prize. Donnie Burgess reports that's about to happen again.
A winning Powerball ticket worth $50,000 was purchased at the Smoke Shop in Rensselaer before the April 6th drawing. The ticket matched 4 out of the 5 numbers and the Powerball, but no one has claimed their prize. Well, you're on the clock. You have until 4:30 Thursday afternoon to get to Indianapolis and get your cash. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indianapolis Colts grabbing a 27-24 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday, having to do it mostly without Anthony Richardson as he left the game after taking a shot to the hip.
I'm feeling a little sore, but, feeling good. We got the W today. Great execution by everybody on the field today. I think I'm going to be good. Just a little soreness.
Joe Flacco coming in relief, throwing for 2 touchdowns. AR hoping to be good to go for the Jaguars on the road next Sunday. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Here is Jiffy Lube of Indiana's COO, Lonnie Hinkle.
Lots of Hoosiers belong to unlimited car wash programs because they want their car to look great. At Jiffy Lube, we're here to help you make sure your car runs great. So to help take care of your car inside and out, Jiffy Lube is offering everyone who belongs to a monthly car wash program a $20 discount and a free tire rotation from now through the end of the year. Just point out your car wash sticker and we'll do the rest. My Jiffy Lube teams are maintenance experts. Our computer system provides all of the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations for every make and model of vehicle, so we know exactly what every car needs to operate at its best. Jiffy Lube is your trusted one-stop shop for all that your car needs to run well for many years. You never need an appointment, and we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores. So stop in on your way to the car wash, save $20, plus get a free tire rotation just for belonging to a monthly car wash program.
Jiffy Lube. Nobody does it better.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
It is Monday, September 30th. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. It's 93 WIBC. So we've got $2.4 billion in aid for Ukraine. No more aid for Hurricane Helene victims. But we also have a big problem down at the border. And Kamala Harris went down there for about, 20 minutes? A little photo op.
I hope she didn't injure anything.
Right? She never cared about the border until she realized it could cost her an election. So she showed up down there for a photo op for about 20 minutes wearing a $60,000 necklace.
I was born in a middle-class family.
Yeah, looking absolutely ridiculous. So a new report came out. It said more than 13,000 immigrants have been convicted of homicide.
How many?
13,000. And that's just for homicide. You've got other numbers that include rape and sexual assaults. So 13,099 murderers, 15,811 sexual assaults, with a total of 425,000 plus total criminals.
And this is why several weeks ago during that debate, and look, there were people who work here who were just up in arms over Trump saying that they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, and, I can't believe he did that. And I said, no. You don't get what he's doing, and I get what he's doing, so I'm going to tell you what he's doing, which is he is making the conversation about what's going on in this country, not just the border. And the broader, and he is providing sustaining power to the conversation. I think that's what's most important. If Trump had just said the border is a disaster and there's 15 million people who have illegally entered the country, out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't. You got to meet the people where they are. We live in a cessationalist society. And if he wanted the conversation to be about the border and what's going on in this country, because you got to remember, it's a way bigger conversation than just illegal immigration. It's a conversation about people that we are letting into this country legally who are not assimilating into our society. They are not assimilating into the American way of life. They are taking over communities. And Trump has made all of that go front and center over the statement, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
So much so that it would force Harris to go down to the border, so it looks like she cares about it.
Right. And look, I said this last week and I'll say it again. And I was thinking about this yesterday. If you live in central Indiana and you go to your local Walmart or Target or whatever, but Walmart's always sort of the standard bearer, right? Like if you live in central Indiana and you go to your local Walmart, I guarantee you, if you're being honest with yourself, the makeup of that local Walmart looks markedly different than it did 10 years ago. And I'll go back to this conversation I had with a local superintendent who I would describe as certainly not a Republican. I will not name the person because I would not ruin that person's reputation by the fact that of their own free will and volition, they correspond with me. But this is a person who you would not describe as a Republican, certainly not a conservative. Probably you would say this person's liberal, a huge public education proponent. And this person told me, they said, our school system is being overrun with these legal migrants in this country, these TPS type people, because they're being brought into this country, they're being brought into this state, they're being brought into these communities, and they're living, in some cases 10 people to a house, and they're putting 4, 5, 6 of these kids into our school system. And that is what the conversation is about, is the immigration policy as a collective, not just illegal immigration. It doesn't even matter if they're eating the cats or dogs. The reality is the immigration policies of the Biden administration, through asylum, through the TPS, through the illegal immigration, we are seeing our communities overrun with people who are coming to this country.
So that ICE non-detained document came out, and it says that the agency has information on some of the immigrants, and they know that they have pending immigration cases in the U.S., but they're not currently in detention, and they're not prioritized for detention, or they're currently serving time in jail or prison for their crimes, or there's some that ICE can't even find. We're talking about 2 million gotaways that are roaming freely with unknown backgrounds.
And remember, well, this has been a couple of years ago now. I don't even know if you were here then, when Hammer and Nigel came on and said there are some really horrific things going on at Camp Atterbury, and these Afghanistan, who Holcomb was all giddy to have in our state, are doing horrific things down there, and they're causing millions of dollars of damage. And old 2Ls down there at THR spoke to the government, and the government's like, that's not happening. He goes, see, we proved it's not happening because the government said it's not happening. And then it came out that exactly as Hammer and Nigel said, that these Afghani refugees were doing all this damage and millions of dollars that the taxpayers were on the hook for. Everything they said was happening. It's the same thing here. When you've got liberal school people telling me, yeah, man, this is getting kind of out of control, and these people are flooding these communities. Yeah, everyone better wake the you-know-what up and take notice. And that's what Trump was doing. Trump was saying that to get people to wake up. And for the past 3-4 weeks now, what have we been doing? We've been talking about immigration as a collective. The governor of Texas talks about how Biden's just flying the people into the country now to avoid the illegal border crossings. They are gutting. The Biden administration is gutting the fabric of America, which means that there is a process. And before you call me an ist or a phobe or a whatever, no. I believe in a very big wall and a very wide gate. And what that means is becoming an American means something. It means something to come to this country. And primarily what it means is you assimilate to us. You adapt to our culture. You don't get to tell us how we have to cater to you. And people are sick of the crap, Casey.
So NBC News is reporting that there have been parts to finish the wall. They've been waiting, and now they're just sitting and rusting. And they've been sitting there since 2021.
Look, the Democrats, the base of the Democrat Party, and you just look no further than the 1619 Project, they believe America is an inherently evil and awful place. It cannot be reformed. It needs to be burned to the ground and built back up in some socialist Marxist image that they believe is best. And they will do that by any means necessary. And the fastest, most logical way, if you're trying to destroy a country, is just to let people flood into the country who don't share your values. It's not rocket science. It's not some ingenious thing. It's just a pretty basic playbook that if a country loses its culture, it loses its identity. And the fastest way to do that is to let as many people not from this country into this country as fast as possible.
Okay, so Donald Trump tweeted out yesterday, to all rapists, drug dealers, human traffickers, and murderers, welcome to America. It is important that you send a thank you note to Lion Kamala Harris, because without her, you would not be here. We don't want you, and we're going to get you out. Okay, let's flash back. Kamala Harris claimed that America doesn't need a border wall or illegal immigration isn't a crisis. In 3.5 years, she allowed over 10 million people to illegally cross the border under her watch. Now, because she's afraid it will cost her an election, she's posing for photos and running ads showcasing the border wall. But we remember, and so does the internet, because it's forever, things that she has said in the past.
We have a president of the United States who has created a fiction about a crisis at the border, and he has held up the United States government and its workers around his vanity project called a wall.
We don't need to build a wall. This is a crisis of his own making. The president of the United States has a vanity project that he doesn't want to give up. It's the president's vanity project. This issue is about a vanity project for this president. Right. The president's vanity project. Let me be very clear. I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances. I am not for a wall. It will not end with a wall. It will not end with a wall.
It will not end with a wall?
No.
All right.
It is not an emergency.
We are not facing a crisis. The idea that he is trying to say that we have people that are trying to invade our country to commit mass crime is a crisis of his own making. On the subject of transnational gangs, let's be perfectly clear. The president's medieval vanity project is not going to stop them.
I specialize on transnational criminal organizations.
Yeah.
That wall ain't gonna stop them.
No.
if you care at all about American sovereignty or American identity or America remaining a sovereign nation for the most part, you cannot vote for anybody but Donald Trump. I mean, these people are selling our country out. They're giving our country away. Our country is being overrun. I mean, I know it's a broken record, but when I had that conversation with that superintendent, and that is not a person that I would guess partakes in our show on the regular for enjoyment, but why? But he knows we have the voice to get to the people, and was telling me that. I was blown away. If that person thinks it's a problem, knowing that person's politics, it's a big problem.
So she kept calling Trump's wall a vanity project, an un-American, and now she's embracing it. Now she's down there getting pictures taken. It shows that she has a true lack of conviction and also her indecision over the past 3.5 years to do anything about it. Well, this isn't about optics. This is about a real lack of leadership on her part. Now she's running to solve the crisis. We just heard a clip, her saying, this isn't a crisis. This isn't a problem. But now it is.
She's not going to solve anything. They are wholly invested in this mass flood of people coming into this country, taking over communities, changing the culture and the way of life. And all these elected officials in these towns, these city councilmen, these mayors, who aren't saying anything, who see it. They shop at the same places we shop. They see what's going on, but out of outward cowardice, don't say a damn word about it. Shame on all of you people.
So Donald Trump, one other thing. Donald Trump said that there's a new piece that's going to be coming out soon that proves Kamala Harris lied about working at McDonald's. He said a major newspaper is doing a story on it. But Jen Psaki, you remember her. She's the former press secretary.
Yeah.
She, during her lifestyle show, was talking to Doug Emhoff, and they were talking about what else? Oh, how he's so super masculine, and also about how he cooks. Now, important things. So let's take a listen. Here is Jen Psaki with the second gentleman explaining how Kamala taught him to cook salmon and sauteed spinach. It's number 13, Kevin.
Can you cook now that she taught you?
So this was kind of a COVID era thing when we were together, and it was a little unfair that she was cooking all the meals, and I said, can we eat less? And she said, no, you need to learn how to make a few things. She said, just learn 2 or 3 things. So it was like baked chicken, grilled salmon, and make some rice and maybe saute some spinach. So that's about the extent of it. My grandfather taught me how to do scrambled eggs when I was a kid, so I can actually do great scrambled eggs and then a few other things. But
he's bragging that he knows how to cook scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Come on.
I can do that.
If you don't know how to do a scrambled egg, really?
By the way,
that's like so basic to me.
Can I just real quick, I ask you a question and you can tell me whether I made a good move or a bad move here?
Yeah.
So we've talked about how my wife has a habit of buying things that she wants in the moment. And then once
at Costco,
and then
you have a lot of it.
She's had the thing, then she no longer there's no recognition of, wow, there's a lot of these left over. And so we had a crab cake that had a best sell date on it of September the 20th. And I told her yesterday, I said, I see what this costs. I didn't know crab cake was actually that expensive.
Yeah.
But I said, I refuse to let this go to waste. I'm going to have you cook this crab cake with me, and I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Do you think it was okay on the 29th to eat something that had a sell-by date of the 20th?
It had a sell-by date
Yeah.
of the 20th, not an eat-by date. As
Right.
long as you had it in the fridge or the freezer,
Yeah,
right?
the fridge, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You're
Okay.
good. How, you feeling okay?
No, it's fine. But it was just like, at this point, I'm 40 years old. It's like, I know it's a huge risk, but I cannot lose the $6 or whatever that thing costs.
No, I think you're good. I do want to play one more clip really quick. This is Jen Psaki with the second gentleman again. And she's saying that he has reshaped the perception of masculinity.
Important part, or an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
it's funny, I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this, and
Slobber. No one's claiming that he's reshaping masculinity, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see that there's this weird statue of Donald Trump outside of Las Vegas?
Oh, how exciting.
And
Tell me more.
He's in his birthday suit. I will tell you more coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
In Detroit, Kamala rolls out this bizarre accent.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave.
I would love it if that's how she talked in meetings. Kamala Harris goes up there sounding like Foghorn Leghorn. I'll say it. Somebody better turn the Fox News off the television.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Fall in India is great, but don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint. And the crew?
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house and all the pillars. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and that would be the way to go.
And here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Well, changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. $10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
There's now a 43-foot tall, naked statue of Donald Trump.
Wait, what?
Outside of Las Vegas. It's a 43-foot tall, naked statue of him.
What's it? Is it made of like something? Is it like Jello? Or?
It's like one of those mesh things where the inside is like chicken wire.
It's not like a real statue.
Yeah, styrofoam. No, it's not like made of marble or anything.
Like Michael Jordan has that statue outside the United Center. It's not like one of those.
Foam over rhubarb, and it weighs 6,000 pounds, by the way. It's like a marionette. The arms move.
Oh.
Not sure if everything else moves. It is anatomically correct.
It's
all out there.
He has a thing?
He's got a thing.
No
yep.
kidding.
And it's not the first time there's been naked statues of Donald Trump.
No kidding.
They were making their rounds back in 2016 when he ran. The people who put it up say that they want more conversation about the election. So unless somebody makes them take it down, chances are the naked statue of Donald Trump will be up until the election. But did you hear what Donald Trump had to say about his own beautiful body?
Oh, no.
Yeah, here it is.
As beautiful. I could have been sunbathing on the beach. You have never seen a body so beautiful. Much better than Sleepy Joe.
Except for, do you remember when he was arrested? They put his weight wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had some other stuff to say over the weekend. Donald Trump did. He said that Joe Biden became mentally impaired, but Kamala was born this way.
Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was born that way.
So Lindsey Graham was
He's still a thing?
Yeah, he was on State of the
He's
Union.
still alive?
Yeah, still alive, still in office. He was on State of the Union, and he wasn't condemning what Donald Trump had to say, but in fact, he kind of dodged the question in a way, but he said that her policies are mentally disabled.
Okay, can we talk about, because I'm going through this right now with the that socialist guy that's on the Indy City County Council, Jesse Brown, is that his name?
And he likes to fight with Ethan a lot, too.
He has just been, so there's a guy who's a literal avowed socialist. This is what our city has been reduced to. You want to know why this city's a giant pile of crap? Because we have like a literal socialist running the city. And he has been on a nonstop crusade for like 5 or 6 days now over my nickname for Destiny Wells, and he is just up in arms that I'm a misogynist and I'm a this and I'm a that. Like here's a woman daring to say women should have autonomy over their bodies. That's what they call abortion. On-demand abortion is an autonomy over your body. That's why I have to make up misogynistic names and call her insane on the radio. Can't these dames see that there's no such thing as the patriarchy? And I just finally told this guy, it's like, first of all, grow up. We're all big boys and girls here. Second of all, I've been giving people of both sexes and parties nicknames for years. It ain't got nothing to do with the fact that Destiny Wells is a woman, Ass Holcomb or Todd Young or the Flanders Boys or Mouthy Matt, or it has to do with the fact that she is a complete radical leftist on-demand abortion advocate who is a horrible candidate. And now that I know that it bothers everyone, I'm just going to keep calling her Indiana Beto as many times as I possibly can.
You're going to keep doing it. It did stick with some people.
But you see this with all of these people where it's like, Donald Trump was mean to Kamala Harris, or Donald Trump was mean to Joe. If you are running for statewide public office, or you're running in the case of the presidency of the United States, you are full-grown adults and you are trying to lord over large quantities of people. If someone's giving you a nickname or telling a little joke about you, that pales in comparison. That pales in comparison to the damage you can do to that person being in control of that office. I am just amazed at how everybody's Billy Badass, everybody's Johnny Tough Guy, until somebody smacks back at them, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're a this, you're a that, you're an ist, you're a No, we're people. And you want the right to be able to tell me what to do, and part of you trying to tell me what to do means I can tell you where to stick it.
Where was she at in Abdul's poll?
Very far behind.
Okay.
I think she was 16 maybe it was 16 behind. I think she was 14 behind in the Emerson poll.
Right, so that's 2 polls that say
but it's just it's a total. It is amazing with these Democrats, the total lack of, and I don't know whether they don't see it or they see it and they just it's like putting your head in the sand going la 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 la, because your inability to connect with regular people and meet them where they are brings about your electoral demise time and time and time and time again in this state. And then instead of figuring it out and going, okay, what did we do last time? Why didn't that work? How do we improve on that? Like you would in any business or anything else, they just double, triple, quadruple down on whatever they did the last time. And then when they get further rejected than the time before, they get more mad about it than the time before. It makes no sense. It blows my mind that the Democrats appear insistent upon losing what could be winnable races.
You know what's really interesting, Rob, is that Todd Rokita, I mean, you've said good and bad things about Todd Rokita on the air.
Yeah.
When he does something you agree with, you give him
Yeah.
attention for that. When he does something you don't agree with, you let him know that as well. He doesn't really engage with you on social media.
Oh, he does behind the scene. Well, not with me, but about me. I mean, I told somebody I had a little get together on Friday. You know, I wasn't here. I had a little get together with a very, very high ranking government official.
Yeah.
And I think you know who it was.
I
but
do.
that person shall remain nameless. But one of the things I told this person, and I thought their mouth was going to, like, you know, in the cartoon when the person's jaw goes all the way down and hits the floor. And this is what I told them, is I said, I would like you to deliver a message to your friends at the State House. And this person said, okay, I will do that. And I said, if you're in a room of more than 2 people and you say something about me,
it's going to get back to you.
You should just assume it's going to get back to me, because most people are very quietly totally on my side because you guys suck at your jobs. And they were like, what are you implying? I said, I think you know what I'm implying. And so, like, whether it's Rokita or any of those people, if you're going to say it, just walk over here and say it to my face. It's going to get back to me anyway. I know most of it anyway. These people are the biggest group of cowards, or the biggest group of blowhards, or the biggest group of do-nothings. I am just amazed, Casey, at how weak these people are when it comes to somebody clapping back. They're just not used to being clapped back at.
Well, yeah, that's it. And I would think do not engage is what they should do.
Yeah.
Do not engage.
Well, that's what I told somebody the other day, is I said, look, I have this form. Here's the relationship we're in. You get to lord over me. And as part of that, because you're the lawmaker and I'm the radio broadcaster,
You get to go on the air and talk about it.
right.
Yeah.
Now, every time somebody tries to come into our world and think they're going to bulldoze us or tell us how it's going to be or whatever, has it ever ended well, Casey, for any of these people?
No.
No.
Not normally.
No. So here's the relationship. You pull the crap, I comment on the crap, and if you just leave it alone, it's probably going to end up better for you, but they can't help themselves. They're so narcissistic. They're so sociopathic in some cases. They're so self-absorbed. They're such egomaniacs. They cannot stand that anybody exists with a platform to criticize them.
It's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A physical and economic impact. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Hurricane Helene is hitting the pocketbook as well as the hearts of those in the southeast.
This is turning out to be a multi-billion-dollar storm. Helene is. Moody's Analytics saying that the assessment of property damage that's been caused by the storm, somewhere in a range of maybe $15 billion, anywhere up to $26 billion, and then $5 billion to $8 billion in lost economic output for these states and the region.
Fox's Cheryl Casoni. The rock band Oasis will be bringing their reunion tour to North America next summer. Liam and Noel Gallagher announced a series of 5 stadium shows starting August 24th in Toronto. They'll then play shows in Chicago, New Jersey, California, and Mexico City. The band had been broken up for a decade until this year. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela from the Michaelis Corporation. If you see mold growth in your home or business, you need to get it checked out by a professional. Michaela, why should someone with mold call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local and family-owned business for over 39 years. Our inspections are free and we're IICRC certified. Michaelis will sample the mold and has full remediation services if needed. Many times it is not needed, but we want to ensure it is not a dangerous type of mold.
It's important to know what you're dealing with. And should it be something that is a problem, does Michaelis help with the insurance process for mold remediation?
Absolutely. We handle working with insurance throughout the process to give you peace of mind.
If you suspect mold, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Cindy Carrasco has spent a career holding the powerful accountable. As Indiana's Inspector General and Director of the State Ethics Commission, Cindy fought waste, fraud, and abuse wherever she found it. Cindy also combated wrongdoing in state government, which meant standing up and doing the right thing even if it wasn't popular. Now, as our state senator, Cindy Carrasco continues to fight on behalf of all Hoosiers by improving the quality of our children's education, providing tax relief for everyone, and working to make our communities safe by getting law enforcement the resources they need to fight crime, violence, and keep fentanyl away from our families. It's why Cindy has been endorsed by the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, State Police Alliance, and the Professional Firefighters of Indiana. Because they know that Cindy has their back, and we know she has ours. Vote for more government transparency, better schools, lower taxes, and safer streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for State Senate.
Paid for by Cindy for Senate. Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
I see you got a book there. What's your book?
I've been meaning to do this for like 3 days now. It's Kendall and Casey Show. By the way, I'm Rob. That's Casey. My dear friend John Raybould, who hosts the Crossroads of Americana radio show across the country, he was at some convention and he got me this very fabulous book. It's called Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's by Warren Zanes, and it is the making of Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska, which is a now kind of like cult classic album that he recorded in his kitchen in the 1980s. Centers around the case of Charles Starkweather. And anyway, point is they're making this into a movie, and this guy that you're all hunky on, what's his name?
The guy from The Bear.
Who?
Yeah, he's on that TV show, The Bear.
That's an actual TV show?
Yeah.
It's called The Bear. Is it about a bear?
No, it's about a chef. Yeah. Jeremy Allen White.
Square that up with me.
What?
There's a TV show called The Bear that's about a chef.
Well, yeah, it's his nickname.
Oh.
Based in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
So this guy, Jeremy Allen White is his name.
He looks like Gene Wilder.
Well, he does.
It looks like he could be Gene Wilder's son.
He does. Now, I had seen they had done, I don't know whether this is the actual, so they're making this book, Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is the making of Nebraska, into a major motion picture. And I'd seen some headshots or whatever they did of this guy, and he looks identical. Isn't that amazing how they can make people look like other, I mean, they take a dude with similar bone structure. Clearly, they're actors, so they can be taught how to do facial expressions, etc.
Right.
But I saw some headshots or whatever of this guy. And I mean, it's a dead ringer for 1982 Bruce Springsteen. I mean, it's amazing.
He was the guy that was in some of the Calvin Klein underwear ads.
I mean, he's a well-assembled guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's
been
got
working out.
Good bone structure.
Yeah. Yeah. You should watch The Bear. I think you would like that.
I don't, Casey.
He's very high strung. You might be able to relate to him on certain levels.
So anyway, I've been saying this for 3 days now that John got me this book, which he wanted me to read ahead of the movie, so I'd have because the book is almost always better than the movie, right?
Yeah.
We leave things out, take artistic liberties, and it's signed by the artist Warren Zanes. And for 3 days, I've been like, I got to thank John for this book. So
do we know when the movie's coming out? I don't think it's been released yet.
No.
They haven't said when it's going to come out.
No, like I was looking for like an updated thing because Deadline did a thing in April about it, and I haven't seen any other updates on when it's going to come out. We should all go together.
We should.
We'll take Kev with us. We'll get some popcorn. We'll have $150 venture to the movie theater to.
I'm looking to see when they're going to release the movie, but I can't find anything, so maybe they don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm not. The latest update I saw on this on like the Google search is, what? There's no way. Okay, yeah. Now this is more about casting, and there was some couple days ago, so it's still going. Okay. All right, what do we have? Sorry, I didn't mean to derail, but I like a third day in a row. I was like, man, I got to thank this guy for this book.
Yeah, that was
if you give me gifts, I will thank you.
That was very nice.
There's a good chance.
How about IU and their football team? 5-0.
Yeah, how about that?
For the first time since 1967.
How about that? Look, IU is. We talked about this a week ago. I think IU could beat Notre Dame. Like, I think if IU played Notre Dame, I think IU's the best football team in the state of Indiana. I think they could beat Notre Dame.
How about not being able to watch Notre Dame this weekend, by the way?
What do you mean not being able to watch it? I watched it all.
How did you watch it? It was
It's on Peacock.
Right. And did you have to pay for it?
Well, I pay for it anyway.
Okay, so we don't pay for Peacock.
Well, that's as rich as you are, and you know there's multiple Notre Dame games on. Here's the problem I have in my house and why I have to, it has the old wrestling.
Yeah.
But then it also has all the NBC stuff. And the problem I have in my house is I don't have cable. I have the antenna.
Right.
Well, for some reason, Channel 13 on that antenna, all the other ones come in real good. But the Channel 13 is like sketchy, but everything's on Peacock. So like yesterday I watched and I only have the antenna in one room of my house. I don't have it on all the TVs. So like my TV in the living room is all the streaming stuff. So like I watched the President's Cup and Notre Dame, and then the President's Cup and the football. So I gotta have. It's only at $5.99 a month.
That's it.
You don't.
Just one more. Just add it to the list.
What do you have? What are you tuned in? What streaming services do you have?
We've got Netflix and Amazon Prime, and we've got the YouTube TV. Yeah.
Well, that's a big one. That's really expensive. YouTube. That's like, that is like cable.
Yeah.
It is basically.
Well, that is our cable.
Yeah, that is. You're basically having cable. So okay. All right. Well, no, it's like $5.99 a month. You get all the old NBC shows. I think the Peacock
worth it just for the Notre Dame game.
I think the Peacock is the best value of all the streaming services. Like if you were to say cost versus what you get, I think Peacock is the best value of all the streaming services.
Okay, so the Hoosiers, they beat Maryland 52-28, right? And now they've got games against Northwestern, Nebraska, Washington, and Michigan State coming up. And what do we think? Can they go undefeated?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, so the over-under, our first episode of The Degenerates Next Door, I took the over on 5.5 wins. So one more win, and we cashed that over.
And you got it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody thought, let's see, what's the upcoming schedule look like here? Okay, so they got Northwestern. They should win that one. That's 6. That would cash us. Nebraska, I don't know. Washington's not very good. They should win that one. That's 7. Michigan State, they should win that one. Then that's 8. Purdue, that's 9. They should get at least 9 wins. Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska are the 3 tough games they got left. But what an improvement.
Right, exactly. Shocking coming from them. By the way, I am wearing a Maryland hat today, and I'm not trolling IU fans because of it.
Well, I would hope not. Maryland got the brakes beat off of them by IU.
Right. It had nothing to do with the football game. It's just because something I picked up, when I was visiting my daughter. And did you
wait. Do you feel weird about wearing a hat of a state you don't live in?
No, because I have a connection there now. My kid lives there.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But she's not going to live there forever.
Well, okay. You're predetermining her future.
I just don't see. I think she's coming.
Please tell me.
Well,
Rob,
look.
What does her future hold?
I know women, okay? Look, I know how to size women up. And I'm telling you, I feel like this is what I would call a controlled rebellion by your daughter, in the sense of like your daughter is a very well-behaved young woman and very smart, and she was not going to do something like, I'm moving to Las Vegas and I'm going to be a waitress at the Wynn. I mean, she's not doing that.
No.
But this was a controlled like rebellion where she's going with a very smart roommate who's pursuing a doctor's degree. She has a degree in biology. They're living together. She can find someplace nice to work. And then in a year, she can be like, I would like to move back home.
I experienced that.
Right.
Now I'm done.
It's very smart. I wish I had done something like this.
She did say big city living is hard.
But you're going to have no use for that hat in a year.
You think so? Yeah. I think the Maryland state flag is really cool.
Looks like a race flag.
Yeah. I think it's one of the cooler state flags. Okay, we've got Abdul who's going to join us.
No, we don't.
No.
Andy Horning.
No, Andy Horning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jim Banks is refusing to debate. What a wimp. What a wimp. Jim Banks is winning by like 9 million points, is so afraid of getting asked a hard question he won't debate. Andy Horning's the libertarian running for Senate. We'll talk about how can you vote for anybody who thinks so little of you they won't debate.
He's up next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel show, Biden signs new executive orders on gun control. We'll ask the gun guy, Guy Relford, about it. 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
It's Terry Stacy, a customer of Premier Deck Coating, and they've changed our life when it comes to saving us time and money, preparing and protecting our deck year after year. Premier Deck Coating is the ultimate deck protection, sister company of Rhino Shield, locally owned. Right now, we've got black walnuts that fall from the trees that normally used to stain the deck, but no more now that we have Premier Deck Coating. It has completely transformed our deck with their special formulated product, and it's backed by a 10-year warranty. They came in, they sanded all the walking surfaces, they repaired the damaged boards, and then they applied their Protect Deck and Railing coating, and that repels mold and moisture, and it resists scratches, and it keeps our deck looking great for years to come. They can also do fences and pergolas, too. And listen to this. Right now, they're able to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans and no payments until next year to qualified customers. Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. We love what they were able to do for us. For a free quote, visit premierdeckcoating.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Fellas, if you're not upbeat like you used to be, it could be low testosterone. It affects our moods. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, can help you get back to your best. Guys have different T levels. We're not all the same. Don't go for that TRT referred to as a standard dosage plan. Ask. There's a difference. Look for TRT with an optimized personal treatment plan like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Husband Bob has Parkinson's and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here, and you know, Casey, we have a theory on this program.
Yeah.
And that is, if you will not debate your opponents, then you should not be voted for.
Yeah, you have to give people an opportunity to hear what you stand for.
Right, because think about it. If you're not willing to be held accountable to the voters when you want their vote, how unaccountable are you going to be to the voters when you don't need their vote?
Right. Some people are very confident, aren't they?
Well, and this is part of the problem with some of the one-party rule stuff is that people don't feel like they have to do much of anything in order to earn your vote. And, well, apparently Jim Banks is one of those people because he has flat out just said, I am not debating anyone in my race for U.S. Senate this year.
Again, back to some people are feeling very, confident.
Well, and he should be. I mean, he's overwhelmingly winning in the polls, but it's the conversation about what obligation should you have if you actually want to be good at governance, right? It should be about more than just winning. It should be what obligation do you have if you want to be. I mean, even Todd Young debated. As much as we dislike Todd Young, even Todd Young stood on a stage for an hour and held himself to some level account to the voters. One of the guys who's not too happy about Jim Banks' refusal to debate is Andy Horning. He's the Libertarian running for U.S. Senate. He joins us now on the WIBC hotline. Horning, why will Jim Banks not debate anyone?
Well, yeah, it's not actually a hard question. You know, if you've got enough money that you can hide until Election Day and win anyway, why would you want to subject yourselves to hard questions and the possibility of a Murdoch moment or something like that?
Well, that's it. That's it, right? Because you were pre-Rainwater, the highest vote getter in the history of the Libertarian Party, because you were the U.S. Senate candidate when Murdoch had his little meltdown. And is that the thing, right? He says, I don't need to be accountable. My goal is to win. I'm overwhelmingly winning, so screw you guys.
Well, I don't think that's all there is to it, because it's a trend all across the country where if you've got enough money, then, I mean, like you kind of said it, if you don't show up for the job interview, you shouldn't get the job. But this is up to voters. We say that we don't like, we want term limits, but we vote for incumbents, and we say we want to get the money out of politics. But here's a good example of where the money in politics is all we're really voting for. And we've got to stop that. The fact that he's got, just from one single PAC, AIPAC, for example, he got more from one PAC than I've gotten in 30 years of running for office as both a Libertarian and a Republican, all put together. And so, when you've got that kind of money and you can control the message and you can, I say message, I've been to candidate forums all across the state. And I've met all kinds of candidates all across the state. This is the first time in my 30 years of running that I have not even run into him out on the campaign trail. So I've never had a situation where I didn't meet everybody that was also on the ballot with me.
So the debate commission does the debates. They wanted to do a debate with you and Valerie McRae, which, by the way, you wouldn't know her if she walked past you either, but for different reasons, and Banks. And basically, Banks just said nothing.
Well, that's just it. He didn't respond to the debate commission at all.
He didn't even say no. He just said nothing.
Yeah, just nothing. And the fact that the debate commission delayed and delayed and delayed, and now that we're going to have a debate just with McRae and me, and I've seen her on the campaign trail anyway, so she's not invisible. But the fact is, they've delayed it until the 29th of October, and I'm guessing 60% of voting is going to be done by then.
Andy Horning is our guest. He's a Libertarian candidate for U.S. Senate. We're talking about Jim Banks' refusal to debate. So what's the answer to this, Horning? I mean, obviously Indiana's a Republican state, and, people are like, we're not turning this over to the Democrats. So, like, what do we do here? I mean, what's the answer?
I can't fight the presidential hysteria. I mean, that tribal war drum is just too loud to overcome. But I wish people would look down the ballot and consider that Congress is really the biggest problem that we've got. The president isn't nearly as powerful as Congress, and they're the ones who are really screwing us up with war and funding, sending money overseas and bringing in illegal aliens, all of that. I mean, their talk is one thing, but what they do is another. And, we really ought to be thinking about how the disgust with the two-party system has never been higher, but just that tribalism is making us even more entrenched in it. And that's the problem. You don't maybe get what you want, but you do get what you vote for, at least in terms of, voting for the two-party system and ignoring any alternatives and this kind of falling for all of the lies and gaslighting and stupid nonsense that's going on right now.
Andy Horning, you said you're going to be debating Valerie McRae at the end of next month. How do you expect that to go?
Well, Valerie and I don't agree on very many things. She's a very nice person. I've run into her many times, and I don't have any personal issue with her, and she's at least going out and campaigning. So I think we're going to have like an honest, I think even intellectual debate on important issues. What's unfortunate is that voters are not going to get to see any of what they're likely to vote for, and that's really frustrating to me. And that's not even just for Jim Banks. Even the people that are going to vote for McRae or me are probably going to have already voted by the time we have the debate. So the debate I think it's going to be useful, but only for those people who didn't vote early, because we're only talking days away from Election Day when it's all over. And more people have been voting early all the time.
Is this on TV? This is the debate commission? So will this be on TV?
Yeah, it will, and it's going to be in the Wish Channel 8 studios in downtown Indy.
All right. Okay, so Horning, if people want to know about you, look, our theory, Andy, is if you will not debate, people should definitely not vote for you because you are a coward and you are a big pathetic person if you're running for statewide office and you won't debate people. Horning, if people want to know more about you, how can they do that?
I'm easy to find. HorningForSenate.com, just FOR, not the number 4, HorningForSenate.com. And you can look me up on Facebook, Google, even on Amazon. I've got a book there. So, I'm pretty easy to find. Just look for Andrew Horning, Indiana. Just Google that. Even Google will let you know where I am.
All right, Andy Horning, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
And that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Do you ever worry if you'll run out of money in retirement? If so, you're not alone. 70% of Americans fear running out of money in retirement, more than they fear death itself. And now that Social Security is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years, going broke in retirement could be a very real threat. Learn the latest strategies that could help you avoid running out of money in retirement with a free analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We know and trust Bill Demery, and you can too. So if you have saved more than $200,000, schedule that free analysis right now by calling 317-648-5120. The last thing you want is to be 80 years old, full of life, and flat broke. So call Bill Demery today, 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. $10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
You could feel the energy in your feet.
Me and my wife personally, we stayed at a hotel.
But please know that we are continuing to work around the clock.
Chris Coles, who goes by the online name Mr. Reagan.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
Helene packed a punch, and Indiana felt it.
You've got a mostly cloudy sky, and it's 71 degrees. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm Sean Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon.
You could feel the energy in your feet. Like we were videotaping it through our window, and my daughter's like, I can feel it in my teeth.
The remnants of Hurricane Helene came into Indiana, knocked out power to thousands of people, and damaged property in some areas. What you just heard there is a woman in Indianapolis who says the high wind gusts and heavy rain were a lot for people to deal with.
Couldn't get through 911. It was on hold, like putting us on hold because so many people were trying to get through. But we finally got through, and it had already been reported. But I was just shocked at, no firemen ever came.
And this man lost power at his home and was forced to seek shelter elsewhere.
Me and my wife personally, we stayed at a hotel just to make sure that we had some facilities for ourselves. And then we made sure whatever refrigerated stuff that we had to have, we just brought with us as well.
And he gives credit to AES Indiana for working as hard as they could to get power restored.
But the work is not done for them yet. Claire Rice is with AES Indiana. She says if your power isn't back on, she understands your frustration.
But please know that we are continuing to work around the clock as quickly as we can to restore power safely so we can get the lights back on for you.
She says about 95% of the power has been restored, and she expects all of it to be done tomorrow.
As for what's coming next,
essentially after today, we're going to be done at least with the impacts of Helene. But as we get into tomorrow, there'll be a front that's going to be coming through that's going to bring another round of just, light rain showers here or there. I'm not expecting too much when it comes to additional precipitation.
Andrew White from the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says temperatures will also drop, and there could be some dense fog Tuesday morning.
More than 100 people have died from Helene, and that encompasses several states. At least 25 people have died in Georgia, and that's where Brian Kemp is the governor.
It was unprecedented for a Cat 2 hurricane to actually make landfall in Georgia, and to see the level of destruction that a hurricane could do in this community.
President Biden says resources are coming.
I'm committed to traveling to the impacted areas as soon as possible, but I've been told that it would be disruptive if I did it right now.
But he says he'll do whatever he can to help finish the job.
Also, if you're a Verizon customer, you've been dealing with the outage. Down Detector says there have been nearly 100,000 reports of users experiencing issues, which started around 9:30 this morning. Some people say their phone is stuck on SOS mode and they can't send texts or make calls.
What diabetic advocates are hoping for. That story and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Kamala Harris failed at the border, and the updates on Hurricane Helene are horrific. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Well, Tony, artificial intelligence is at the center of something regarding Vice President Kamala Harris. Fox's William Lajeunesse explains.
Chris Coles, who goes by the online name Mr. Reagan, created his own version, replacing Harris' voice with one generated by AI that sounds just like her. In his video, the AI voice mocks her policies and says any criticism of Harris is sexist and racist. Coles labeled it a parody. Elon Musk reposted the video, calling it amazing, however, without the disclaimer, prompting an angry Governor Newsom to say manipulating a voice should be illegal.
A judge is set to consider an injunction preventing that law's enforcement. Critics of it say it's a violation of the First Amendment.
A woman was trapped in her car. Jake McDaniel has more.
That happened when an 80-foot oak tree fell on her car while she was at a stop sign on the north side from Hurricane Helene. Neighbors rushed to the scene, moving branches to rescue her from the SUV. She was able to escape with almost no injuries, although her car took a lot of damage. The tree also took down a power line, and neighbors put a lot of effort into help. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you have diabetes, you rely on medications to stay alive. Kerr Darling reports on what diabetic advocates are hoping for this election year.
Advocates like Molly King of Crawfordsville say both Republicans and Democrats have falsely claimed to have lowered the price of insulin to $35, when in reality those price caps are just for people on Medicare and Medicaid. She tells Wish TV she struggles to pay for her insulin.
There have been times in my life where I have not been able to afford my medication, and it has landed me in the intensive care unit for weeks on end.
And she says part of the issue is only 3 companies in the U.S., including Eli Lilly, make insulin and can price it however they see fit. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The American Academy of Pediatrics is releasing its first guidelines on safely prescribing opioids to children. There's been concern about twin issues, both overprescribing for pain and underprescribing. The Academy says while pediatricians can and should prescribe codeine and tramadol, they say only children 12 and up who have acute pain from procedures like wisdom teeth removal, fractures, and other chronic conditions. And the Academy says they should be prescribed with an RX for naloxone in case of an overdose. Basketball Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo has died at the age of 58. The NBA confirmed Mutombo passed away. He had been battling brain cancer. Mutombo played 18 seasons in the league with the Denver Nuggets, Atlanta Hawks, Philadelphia 76ers, New Jersey Nets, New York Knicks, and the Houston Rockets. The NBA's commissioner, Adam Silver, said Mutombo was larger than life, and he was one of the greatest shot blockers of all time.
Checking your radar, it is 68. Clear, not raining. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm Sean Herrick. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 12:06. Time for Tony Katz Today.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
In case you're curious, and I know you were, Kamala Harris eats no for breakfast.
Like, don't hear that. Don't hear that. I eat no for breakfast. That's my saying.
Well,
I eat no for breakfast.
That's her saying. That's Kamala Harris letting you know how tough she is. Do I visit the border unless I'm in an election? No. Do I worry about the price of eggs or milk or bread unless it's an election? No. Do I care about people being killed by illegal immigrants unless it's an election? No. Eating it all up. Num, 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 num. Delicious. Good Lord. Just that answer alone should explain everything to those people who don't understand why she is not doing better in the polls.
Like, don't hear that. Don't hear that. I eat no for breakfast. That's my saying.
Well,
I eat no for breakfast.
That is just so highly uncomfortable. And with everything with Kamala Harris, completely non-connected. Tony Katz Today. Good to be with you. 833-468-8669. 833 Tony. That's the number. That's how you get to be a part of the show. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Updates on Hurricane Helene are still coming in. This death toll over 100. When you actually take a look at this path of destruction through Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, this whole area of western North Carolina just wrecked, ruined, destroyed. Asheville and areas on both sides just obliterated. The town of Chimney Rock no longer there. We're going to get into that. We've got some people on the ground there who are going to find some good cell reception and get with us. But there has been some real fascinating movement on the polling. And why it is that the Harris team would be desperate for another debate, why Trump doesn't have to do it, and where Kamala Harris is falling down. You know, I've made the argument that any Republican would have been an easier lift than Trump. That is absolutely true from an electoral standpoint. The same thing can be said of Kamala Harris. Anybody would have been an easier lift than Kamala Harris, except for Joe Biden, because Joe Biden didn't know where he was. Did you hear Joe Biden? He was getting ready to go onto Air Force One, or he's going on to Marine One, and he's being asked about the attack that Israel had on both Beirut and on Yemen, on the Houthi rebels, these absolute savage terrorists who have been messing with cargo freighters in the Suez Canal, in the Red Sea, costing Egypt $6 billion. And he's asked about this.
Mr. President, will you deploy more U.S. troops to the Middle East?
Mr. President, has Netanyahu gone too far?
Any comment on the strikes in Yemen, Mr. President?
Both sides have got to settle the strike. Support the collective bargaining effort. I think they'll settle the strike.
Now, maybe you didn't hear it. When asked about the strikes in Yemen, Joe Biden said, I've spoken to both sides. They've got to settle the strike. I support the collective bargaining effort. I think they'll settle the strike. He's talking about the longshoremen and the strike that might happen on the East Coast, in the Gulf. You're talking about Great Lakes areas as well that may have these strikes. He doesn't even understand the question being asked of him. No wonder they replaced him, no matter how ugly it was, no matter how much of a coup it actually is, and took a woman who never got a vote in a primary and gave her the nomination. She's a mess. A mess. And the polling tells the same exact story. The Real Clear Politics average has this spread at 2 points for Harris. But the last three polls, Rasmussen, CNN, and Quinnipiac, +2 for Trump, +1 for Harris, and a tie. What happened to the +6 here and the +5 from Morning Consult and the +4 from CBS? Maybe there's a question about how they do the polling, because those were outliers, and everything else, we're talking about 2,000 likely voters in one poll, 1,720 in another poll, isn't showing any movement for Harris. They told us that the trend lines were moving her way. We said this isn't true. Pennsylvania, because of course it's not about national polls, it's about the battlegrounds. Trafalgar Group leans right, and it's +3 for Trump. So it's important to note that where they lean. But Fox News poll, which was 775 likely voters, a margin of error of 3.5, a little high in my view on the margin of error, it's a tie. The Atlas Intel poll, I don't know much about Atlas Intel, 1,775 likely voters, margin of error of 2, so they really think they've got this on point. Trump +3. Pennsylvania has Trump leading the overall, the Real Clear Politics average, by 0.2. At this stage of the game, this date in 2020, Biden was up over 6 points. Biden was up over 6, and he won the state by 1.2. That is Pennsylvania falling for Trump and away from Kamala Harris, a state she desperately needs. Wisconsin shows 0.8 for Harris in the Real Clear Politics average. The last two polls, +2 for Harris, +2 for Trump. On this day, remember I said 0.8, she's up 0.8. And on this day in 2020, Biden was up 5.5, and he won the state with 0.7. He won the state with basically the same number Harris has right now, but he lost 5 points in the interim. That's Wisconsin. You go battleground after battleground after battleground, and nothing is moving in her direction. North Carolina, where there's going to be a lot of attention on this disaster response and how things went and how people dealt with it, The last poll was East Carolina University. 1,005 likely voters with a margin of error of 3. It had Trump up plus 2. Trump is up in the overall Real Clear Politics average of 0.6. At this stage of the game in September of 2020, this day, Biden was up 0.5. And Trump won the state with 1.3. Tell me more about how she's connecting and how there's joy and great enthusiasm. There's no connecting, there's no joy, there's no great enthusiasm. I didn't even mention Michigan. I did not mention Michigan because I don't have to. Elisa Slotkin, who is the Democratic representative from Michigan, she can say it far greater than I can.
I'm not feeling my best right now about where we are on Kamala Harris in a place like Michigan right now. We have her underwater in our polling.
So in Democratic internal polling, stuff they don't share, they've got Kamala Harris underwater. Oh, okay. Yet they're going to tell us how terrible Trump is and this, that, and the other, and you might think he's terrible. But they think that that's enough. They refuse to connect the dots and recognize that Kamala Harris doesn't connect. You want more proof of this? This was fantastic. This was NBC News yesterday. When you looked at their first story, if you go to NBC News, I know you don't often do that. Go to NBC News. Just do it for me. Do it for Tony. And click on politics. Boop, right there. Politics. And you'll see some stories about how Trump is ramping up his pace of campaigning in the sprint to Election Day. Well, I assume everybody is. It's the final month. You people got to see it. You got to be out there hitting those battleground states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona. That's where to expect him. Michigan as well. But right there's a story. And if you looked at the story and they had this graph up, you'd be like, it said Harris, a picture of Kamala Harris, 54%, and a picture of Donald Trump, 40%. And you look at that and you say, oh, they've got Harris up 54 to 40. This is just ridiculous. No. Take a second to read what they're talking about. They're talking about Latino voters. 54% for Harris. 40% for Donald Trump.
Yeah, Kristen, some interesting stuff here. Again, we see every 4 years the Latino vote becomes a bigger and bigger share of the overall electorate. Well, among Latinos, our poll shows Kamala Harris leading Donald Trump 54 to 40%. Now, for some context, this is a little bit better for Democrats than they were doing among Hispanics when Joe Biden was their candidate. But I think the bigger story here is historically, 54 to 40 now is a 14-point advantage for the Democrats. Take a look back at the last three presidential elections, and these were the results in the exit polls among Hispanic voters. That
in 2012, Democrats were up 44. That was the spread between Democrats and Republicans. In 2016, it was 38. In 2020, it was 33. And right now, it's 14. That's a bad day for the Democratic Party. This is telling you what we already knew. There is no connection. And then throw it to Harry Enton over there at CNN.
But look at where Kamala Harris is today. She's only leading by 9 points. That would be the worst Democratic performance in a generation, 10 points off the mark of Joe Biden, who, of course, won 4 years ago, was sort of that union guy, Union Joe, right? Won it by 19 points. She's 10 points off his mark, and the worst in a generation.
What are they talking about? Union households. In 1992, Bill Clinton won union households 30 points over the Republicans. When Hillary, the worst candidate and the most unlikable candidate in recent American history, she got union households by 12 points. Joe Biden increased it to 19 points. And Kamala Harris doesn't even hit double digits. She doesn't hit double digits. I believe it's the worst performance, as Harry Enton describes it, since 1984. Since 1984. So it's actually a much bigger story. People are going to talk about it as Kamala Harris, and they're going to try to insulate it that way, to silo it. Don't let them, and don't let yourself. This is not about Kamala Harris. This is about the Democratic Party. They don't connect. That doesn't mean that they don't win. And I'm telling you, based on election results, we're going to have a really good time with the conversation of candidate quality. Remember that in 2022? It was all the rage. Everybody was talking about candidate quality. Oh, wait till we get to that. They have lost Gen Z because Gen Z is tired of hearing that everything is terrible and that they're terrible. They certainly have lost men. And their push on masculinity has returned, and it is adorable. How Jen Psaki has a job is beyond belief. Jen Psaki is going to tell Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman, the husband of Kamala Harris, that he's really creating a new masculinity for people to look at. This is the guy who, when he was married to his first wife, was banging the nanny, impregnated the nanny, but he's the masculinity that Jen Psaki is slobbering over. She's precious. It's Jen Psaki. You're losing men. You're losing the Gen Z. You're losing Hispanics. That is bad stuff. Very, very bad stuff all the way around. And everyone's going to say it's because of Kamala Harris. There will be an extent to which that is true. I think this is about the Democratic Party. Kamala Harris doesn't connect, and they don't connect. And you could say anything you want about Trump, and you might be right. But when he talks about the price of eggs, when he talks about ending wars, when he talks about an America that's better than it is today and is actually strong and has a good future, people connect with that in a big, big way. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today.
This could be one of the most consequential votes of our lifetime.
Who will be our next governor?
U.S. Senator.
Our next president. Who will represent us in the General Assembly?
You have a voice with your one vote.
Unhappy with the current state of affairs? You can do something about it.
Voting is one of our most important rights as Americans.
It's how you can stand up for your beliefs,
your values,
and for future generations.
A reminder to make your vote count on November 5th.
November 5th.
November 5th.
From WIBC
and Urban One.
This October 10th through 20th, witness a race like no other. In Driven to Save Lives, a documentary that's more than just a story. It's a life-saving movement.
Driven to Save Lives is inspiration.
Fueled by the legacy of racing champion Brian Clausen, whose heart symbol on his driver's license became a beacon of hope. This film explores the powerful impact of organ and tissue donation in Indiana's racing community and beyond.
To hear Brian's heart beat again, I'll never forget that moment.
Join us for the world premiere event during the Heartland International Film Festival on October 12th at Newfields, or stream the film online.
What Driven to Save Lives does is gives all of us the opportunity to be Brian Clausen.
Visit driventosavelives.org for more information and tickets. That's driven, 2, savelives.org.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Is joint pain, soreness, and achiness getting in the way of your best life? Football legend Emmitt Smith refuses to back down to pain. That's why he's a huge advocate for QC Kinetics and their natural approach to getting you relief.
Look, we get one trip around, so I wouldn't ever let pain stop me from hanging out with my race team, traveling with my family, or golfing with my friends.
Emmett's got it right. And QC Kinetics uses regenerative medicine to relieve that never-ending pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. And the best news, there's nothing foreign being introduced into your body. Just your own body's natural healing properties. No surgery or no downtime.
If pain's holding you back, maybe it's tennis, pickleball, running, hiking, or spending time with special people in your life, what are you waiting for? This is precious time. Get out there and get over to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
That Hurricane Helene is going to be a big part of the debate between the vice presidential candidates, J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, tomorrow night. Tony Katz today, or at least it's going to be one of the first things that comes up. And it's going to be a conversation about response. It's going to be a conversation about government action. There's going to be certainly a question about Joe Biden saying, listen, we can't send any more help. Did he mean to say that? Did he mean this?
Yes, it's tragic. As a matter of fact, we're trying to get the exact number. My FEMA advisor is on the ground in Florida right now. There's a distinction between the numbers that FEMA's used and the ones that are used by the locals. So it really is amazing. You saw the photographs. It's stunning.
It's unbelievable. But
it really is.
Such a wide area.
And we've given them all everything that we have. We're on the ground ahead of time. So we're working hard.
Are there any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet. Hadn't asked for it yet.
It's a weird thing to say. There are no more resources because we already pre-planned for what they needed. You pre-planned for a hurricane that hadn't happened yet and aren't actually dealing with what the reality is to see if more is necessary? You can only par up so much. It's like a restaurant. If you're like, all right, we sell ribs and we've got 40 racks of ribs and we sell the 40 racks of ribs, we're out of ribs. Well, all right, people can get something else. But I don't think you do that for a hurricane. You say, okay, here are the basic needs, and if it goes above this, I guess we're going to have to do more. The storm is brutal, and I think things like this are going to come up. The debate tomorrow, I think we all are in agreement, isn't moving the needle, right? I don't think people are going to make a decision on who they vote for president based on this debate. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things that can't happen that are detrimental. And I think all the pressure is on Tim Walz because Tim Walz comes across weird. What game was he at? Was he at the Michigan game? And he's waving to the crowd that isn't waving back. And he's waving with both hands like it's jazz hands. Like he's standing in front of a car lot, like one of those wavy arm things saying, come on in, we've got the deal, 0% financing, sell, sell, sell. it ain't masculine. It doesn't connect. And I think you're already there. You know that this guy has got a temper. You know this guy wants to blow. He loves to talk about how tough he is. Mind your own damn business and all this other kind of stuff. Oh, that is not going to play well. It's certainly not Minnesota nice. It certainly isn't Midwest. That's the part that J.D. Vance can play. I mean, that brings up the whole Primanti things. Did you hear about Primanti brothers? Or is it Primanti? It's Western Pennsylvania, so it might be Primanti. Okay. I'll get into it. I promise you, if you haven't heard the story of Primanti, I will get into it and how J.D. Vance handled the situation, to which he will get zero credit, except right here. And then how others want to handle it. What happens when a restaurant says, you're not welcome? And what happens when the guy who says he's not welcome says, you know what? It's not your fault. It's all right. It's all right, kid. It's all right. And then leaves you a tip. It's J.D. Vance brings that cool to the debate and is able to defend against the dogs and cats comments. That's all he needs to do. Get under Tim Walz's skin, and that's all you have to do. I'm Tony Katz.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're going to bring you the power, or they'll try. Cloudy skies, 72 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 12:30. Getting power restored to customers hasn't been easy, but Claire Rice with AES Indiana says they have been working hard.
Meaning we've restored power to 95% of customers who were impacted by Friday night's severe weather system.
The company expects everything to be restored by tomorrow. Indiana Task Force 1 is heading to Georgia. The 80-person team was activated last Tuesday and sent to Florida the same day, just before Hurricane Helene made landfall. Over 110 people have been confirmed dead so far after Helene hit the southeast. At least 35 deaths happened in the Asheville, North Carolina area.
I've directed my team to provide every available resource as fast as possible to your communities.
President Biden says he will travel to the area as soon as possible, but says a visit now would be disruptive. I'm Donnie Burgess, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are going to need a bigger cake.
Now through October 10th, get fast, reliable 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $30 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract with free Wi-Fi equipment included. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with Xfinity Mobile. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and an auto-pay stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Rampant crime, crumbling roads, unaffordable housing, open borders, and high inflation. That's Andre Carson's record after 16 years in Congress. Have you had enough yet? It's time for John Schmitz, an Indy native who's working for safe streets, an end to inflation, and a bright future for Indy. John Schmitz has the experience, creativity, and energy to tackle the issues holding back Indianapolis. Help make Schmitz happen. Vote John Schmitz for Congress. Learn more at johnschmitzforcongress.com. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message, paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
Truck drivers, are you tired of missing out on valuable time at home? At Midwest Logistics Systems, you can find a local dedicated job that gets you home every day. Plus, we offer predictable Monday through Friday schedules with occasional Saturdays. As an MLS driver, you'll haul 100% no-touch freight, earn performance and safety bonuses, and have access to full benefits. Don't wait. Upgrade your driving job today. Search jobs and apply now at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com. That's MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. Being from Oklahoma, I know a thing or two about natural disasters. Tornadoes are common where I'm from and have affected my life and the lives of people I care about. No matter where you live, be aware of the dangers in your area and have a plan. You can create an emergency kit, come up with an evacuation plan, and know where to seek shelter. You never know when a disaster may hit. These simple steps can help save a life. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Of course, it is now well known that Israel has completely eliminated the Hezbollah leadership, this terrorist organization supported by Iran. What isn't known is that people in Lebanon and in Syria are cheering because they know that these terrorists are worthless. These terrorists make their lives terrible. They know the Iranian regime sucks. The Iranian people know it, which is why you always do have to discuss it as the Iranian regime. This is about the Ayatollah, that lowlife. This is not about the Iranian people. These people are Persians. They want to sip coffee in cafes and engage in trade. This is what they want to do. We should want to have a relationship with Iran. First of all, get rid of the Ayatollah, rename it Persia, not rename it, revert back to the name, and let's go visit. Let's do some tourism. Tony Katz today. What's going on, everybody? Find it all at TonyKatz.com. I mean, that much is true. People, the people there are not the leadership there. And so much so is true of the Lebanese people and Syrians. They don't want this. And so they're cheering that Nasrallah has been killed by Israel. I mean, they're quite literally partying in the streets. They're singing, they're handing out food. There are signs that say, thank you, Israel. I mean, if you want to tell me that that's all staged and made up, you're more than welcome to. And how Israel's done this certainly is tremendous. And there's a story here about how American press is treating this. You know what American press isn't talking about? Reuters had the story that the U.S. military says it killed 37 militants in airstrikes in Syria this month. I caught this story. It was a blip. It was a connection to some other story I was reading. And the whole thing is 2 paragraphs. They dropped this on a Sunday, right? I mean, they wanted to bury it. The only thing they didn't do is take it out with the trash on Friday. The expression taking out the trash is when the administration, the White House, puts out information on a Friday like 4 o'clock. So it can't make the Friday night news and then gets forgotten about over the weekend and then you're on to a new news cycle on Monday. So that's called taking out the trash. The U.S. military said it killed 37 Islamist militants in 2 airstrikes this past month in Syria. And among the dead, senior leaders of the Islamic State of an al-Qaeda affiliate. CENTCOM said the strikes took place on September 16th and September 24th. No indication any civilians were harmed. You would think that that's a big deal. That's something we'd be talking about. Now, maybe I missed the story. Did you see it? Let me know if you saw that story when it happened. I never, ever saw the story. Because this story is going to infuriate the political left. The political left that keeps screaming for ceasefire, even though that's not what they mean. The political left that condones the behavior of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Andre Carson and Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Chris Van Hollen and the rest, that looks at all of these college campuses and these violent acts that take place of destruction and attacks on students on college campuses, and they shrug their shoulders and say Trump bad, right? That's all they know how to say. They don't focus on the thing. Here's the United States admitting that Islamists are a problem, taking out terrorists, killing terrorists like they should, this is only going to anger them. Oh, look at Genocide Joe. That is what they call him. I don't know what name they have for Kamala. Maybe they call her that too. By the way, I usually pronounce her name right. It's Kamala. And I said it wrong right there. So my apologies. You would think that this is a story about how we're utilizing the military properly, and we have absolutely every capability of being tactical, engaging in precision. Nope. This got 2 paragraphs. Why? Because you can't be loud with this story. Because it is detrimental to Kamala Harris. But also understand how detrimental it is to an entire political party and others who want to play the game that the answer has always been diplomacy. Oh, we need diplomacy. Oh, we need a 2-state solution. Oh, we need to find a way to coexist. Oh, it's like the bumper sticker, right? That's not right. Donald Trump brings forth the Abraham Accords. And the Abraham Accords were about a fundamental shift in thought process. The normal thought process with, you want to call them Arab nations or Muslim nations, however it is you want to describe it, was we cannot create a relationship with Israel until you solve the question of the Palestinians. You mean the Palestinians run by Hamas, whom the Palestinians, poll after poll, massively support, though certainly not all of them. The people who don't support Hamas get beaten. And Hamas would never, ever allow any peace deal to take place because they don't have an interest in that. So here are all these nations that because of, well, some loyalty code, they're not able to do business with Israel. And maybe they'd like to, because at least Israel has, an economy. And maybe they would like to buy some of our things. We have things to sell. It'd be nice to be able to sell to them. We can't sell it to them. It'd be a lot easier to sell it to them because they're like our neighbor. It's really easy to get to. But nope, we can't because of the Palestinians, even though Hamas, a terrorist organization, will never come to peace. So what the Abraham Accords did was change the equation. And they said instead of having the Palestinian thing figured out first, why don't we engage in some trade and some tourism, and then we'll help figure out the Palestinian thing. And Israel said, sounds great. Where do we sign? When do we get to take a vacation? What are we selling? Hey, guys, we've got this thing to sell from the UAE. Did you just say the United Arab Emirates? Yes, I did. Fantastic. We'll clear off 4 shelves. Ready to go. Are we doing any travel? We're going to go visit? Let's go visit. When do we take a plane ride? Let's go. And it's been a success. The left said that this was only going to exacerbate tensions in the region. Just like what? Because you know the answer. Just like moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. It has always been the capital of Israel. It will always be the capital of Israel from now until the end of time. That's just the way that goes. And what did they tell you about moving the embassy? You're gonna do what? And I'm assuming that's the way they said it with the voice up and everything. I shouldn't do that. That hurt. Honestly, the pipes are fine, but I don't think I should be doing that. You can't do that. That's only going to inflame tensions in the region. It goes back to after seeing attacks from Iran on U.S. installations, on Saudi oil fields. Oh, don't respond. That's what they want us to do. Now, Trump didn't respond. I always thought that was a little kooky. But maybe there was a plan for something else happening. Maybe it was to get this other deal created. There could be reasons that I am not privy to. But on every single subject, the answer is, oh, no. You don't want to inflame the tensions. Oh, you don't want to exacerbate the situation. So the terrorist survives. And the Israelis and the West take hit after hit after hit. We already know that our border is so incredibly porous. Lord only knows the numbers of terror cells, whether it's numbers of complete cells or people amongst cells, have gotten into the country. We already know that this is a problem. every time they said don't exacerbate, you just allowed terrorists to do more to destroy Western civilization and Western culture. Us. And after October 7th, Israel said, no, we're done. We're not listening. We're taking out this one. We're taking out that one. We're doing it. We're doing it. And Netanyahu speaking in front of Congress and speaking in front of the UN. We're doing this. And then destroying Hamas. And then the pager attack. And then the cell phone attack. And then the targeted attacks. And then hitting into Beirut and taking out the entire Hezbollah command structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There is a chain of command, the Hezbollah terrorist organization, I don't know, organizational chart. I guess it is. All 18 are dead. Now, they'll get replaced, but it's going to be harder to find the replacement. That's what Israel did in basically 3 weeks. Let me ask you, have the tensions changed? Has anything really changed? Nothing has changed except for the understanding that the political left's argument of exacerbating tensions is a non-argument. It's an argument for getting destroyed. It's an argument for us suffering. It is a failure on every level to understand what a strong foreign policy is. That there comes a moment where all the diplomacy ends. And there comes a moment where you have to win or you have to lose. Now, there is a part of this that nobody is looking at but us. And I have spent the better part of this weekend walking through this in my head when it just hit me as it hit me. And maybe somebody else has said it, and I don't claim that they haven't. Follow me here. One of the talking points of this election is President Trump saying that this never would have happened if he had been in power. Certainly, we've seen this on the Ukraine conversation and on this conversation. And I think it's a strong argument. If you had 4 years without any war and you have got nothing but heartache over the last 4 years, you have dead U.S. soldiers for reasons that they didn't have to die, incompetence of the Biden administration. It's a strong argument. I'm not saying it's not a winning argument for an election. But what if the same thing is true? What if Trump was in power, Israel could not have responded like this? The argument that I'm making is that the weakness of Biden and Harris, the incompetence of the Obama foreign policy, which this all is. This is all Obama foreign policy. This goes back to the apology tour in 2009. All of it goes back to that. And really the seeds of this planted in the years and if not decades before. What if, recognizing how weak Biden is, recognizing how weak Harris is, recognizing that the United States to these nations is not considered a threat, recognizing that this is the administration that left billions of dollars worth of hardware in Afghanistan, what if the Israelis said, this is the moment? Now, maybe just the attack on October 7th was enough. But what if in their planning they said, we don't have to listen to these people. They're incompetent. We can just move on and move forward and move ahead, and we can continue to make our case. And there are still people in the United States who know that we have a value and will be supportive, and they'll put the pressure on them. We don't have to listen. They can't bring anybody to heel. We should take this moment to end our enemies. So what if the same thing is true? If Trump had been in power, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But because Biden-Harris, Harris-Biden are in power, Israel saw itself the opportunity to end the terrorist threat. It's a working theory. And maybe it did come into play. The same way that groups work to do us harm, seeing our weakness with this administration, others saw an opportunity to take out the threats. because the international or diplomatic pressure wouldn't be as high. I'm just only hoping we've done away with certain levels of diplomatic pressure. The Islamist, the terrorist, is the enemy and should be destroyed.